I'm only gonna get out of this favela if I die for this favela or if I'm in jail. Those are the only two times that I'm not gonna be in here. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, like, right here. Do you see it?
Oh shit, yeah.
If that bullet came right here, I would never walk again, man. I would even die, man. Honestly.
Wait, hold on. What was this situation? Tell me this situation. This getting shot
Damn.
at.
This day was pretty crazy, man. We were like,
So you went to the USA illegally, right?
the cop just turned right next to me with the gun in my face. He's like, lay down, lay down, lay down. You lost, you lost, you lost. He's stitched up from up here. He's all cut open, all the way to his belly button. And honestly, I've seen cops using drugs like in front of me. They would get a lot of times when they got me full of drugs, and what did they do? They let me go. They're like, oh, you can go. I'm not gonna bring you to jail. I'm gonna stay with this all for me. So when you see them, they are on the cars. They're like with the
High
guns
as
out of
fuck.
the car, looking like that and everything. Man, they use cocaine. You can know that for a fact.
So about the snitching part, and I told you this beforehand. Like I prefer not to do this anonymous, so I can do clips. But what you're doing right now is not dry snitching. You don't believe? You think everything's gonna be fine? Because I don't want
Yeah,
to.
man, chill. That everybody knows here in Brazil. We know how it is, man. Like that time, I thought that that my brother died, man. But then
Went to
I
jail
got off.
6 times.
Yeah, man. But 30 guys is normal. But sometimes we have 50 guys in one cell, and it's like crazy, man. People sleep like this, standing up, like on the wall. They sleep standing up, man, with their hands like this. If you move your hands, like if you put your hands here, you lose your space right here, so you have to sleep like this. 12 cocaine pins. Here we call them pins. You have 12. 10 is the boss's and 2 is yours. Those two, you can decide what you do, if you're going to use it or you're going to sell it. I'm going to shoot you 30 times in your face and you're not going to step in here anymore.
You said this.
Because, yeah. And then the woman was like, I'm gonna call the cops. A kid with an assault rifle sitting down. We're doing this live and everything. I can't say some things. There are some things that I can't say.
Back in bold. Oh, we're gonna uncover the secrets of the favela today. I'm so excited and also disappointed because we were gonna do this in person through a vlog.
Yeah.
Obviously, the situation occurred, and I'm pretty far away from where you're at now, Thiago. But I really am curious. We've had some good conversations already about this because when you think of Brazil, an outsider, right? For one, you think about the woman. You think about probably the soccer, and then of course you think about the favela. Especially, I think a lot of people that grew up with the video games because in Call of Duty, the famous map was that Modern Warfare 2 or one of those games was the favela, right? You played in the favela and you're like, what the hell? People live in this? Like this is insane. And you're from the favela. You also lived in the States illegally, which we're gonna touch on that. It's kind of
Yeah.
fascinating. And you're back in the favela. So you know everything about it. And the best part is you can speak English. So Thiago, how are you doing? You miss me over there?
Yeah, man, I'm pretty good, thank God. And it's a pleasure to be talking to you again. I miss you a lot. We all miss you. And honestly, man, it's amazing, man. Brazil, like you said, we have a lot of good things. We have some bad things that we need to talk about. It's really sad, but we also have amazing things, and we have to point that out to the world so they can see. And like I went to the United States, I was very young. I was like 6 years old, and I got to live there. Especially, I played that game Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and the favela map. It's really cool, like how they got to connect Brazil with that very famous game Call of Duty. So it was amazing. And now that I got back here, honestly, I'm with a totally different mind because I'm an adult and everything. I was very young when I lived here because, like, before I went to the US, my dad, he went first. So I stayed here just me, my older brother, my two older brothers, and my mother. So we had a pretty hard life, man, without my dad. And finally, we got the chance to go to the US and get everybody together. And then we had to come back again, and my older brother stayed there. And now here it's me, my mom, and my other brother. So just four of us. But the good
Beautiful. Hey,
thing,
let me hop in. Let me hop in this thing. So what I
yeah,
found fascinating too is you told me when I was living in Belo Horizonte, you're like, Nick, the favela is probably the safest place in Brazil, right? Because everyone knows everyone, the community. It's people usually leave the favela to go do the bad stuff. Isn't that true or no?
Yeah, that's fact. That's fact. Honestly, I was afraid, man, to come back to Brazil when I was living in the US. Like my mom said, we're gonna go back, and I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna go back to the favela and everything. I don't know how it is. Everything's so dangerous there. I was thinking about that because like I didn't know exactly how it was, like with an adult mind. I was here as a little kid, so I would see a lot of things, but I didn't like get to know how it was. So when I got here, I started to see the way that life was, man. And honestly, I saw a bunch of loving people united and together in this community. And that just like that got my full attention to Brazil. Like the favela is a great place. It's a place for family that people don't have as good as condition as the people in the like downtown there where there's a bunch of buildings and everything. Here it's all from scratch, man. Everybody like me and my dad, we built our own house here in the favela. We had to get everything plain and everything started building up from scratch. We saw our neighbors growing up too, everybody building their own house. So like we see that it's a very loving culture, man, honestly. And it's there's a lot of poverty too. So we're most of the people here are poor. Most of the people here don't even have their houses painted. Like it's just on the straight from the brick and it stays like that. So people don't have money to build it like to finish their houses. They build a very simple house, a lot of leaks when it rains. And that just shows us how hard life is. But no matter the circumstances, you see the smile on the people's face just to live, just to be next to the person they love. And that's totally different, man. And then you go to the other part of Belo Horizonte where it's just we can say more rich people and everything. And there it's more dangerous because like it's they don't see a lot of different people there and the bad people from the favela they don't want to hurt the people that they love so they recognize so like the bad guys they notice that we have to take care of each other here in the favela and everything so they end up not wanting to do bad things here and they say we're going to go rob where the rich people are because they don't care about us they treat us differently and everything but like here we don't have anything to be robbed too so there's no reason for them to even to rob here like people that rob here in the favela what do they steal they steal like construction equipments and the if anybody steals in here man in the favela you can already know that there is going to be punishment and not by the cops because usually they don't find out they can't find the person that stole anything and the people here, the thugs, the people that we can say that take care of the favela, they like they do anything, man, to protect the people that work, to protect the people that suffer to get their money, to buy their equipments, to buy their cars. And they take that very serious, man. So if you rob anything in the favela, you're gonna get punished. And everybody sees everything here because the houses, I don't know, like you've seen, they're like one next to each other they're right next to each other. There's not even like a backyard or a front yard. There's only houses all over the place and they're mixed up and we just get together. But the
Yeah,
people are gonna I think we're gonna get to a good place.
speaking of that though, so you said the dudes that run it. Now, is it a common misconception that it is gangsters that are running it, like warlords, or who is in control of these favelas? Like I've heard different things. Like sometimes the police could have control over it too, and they're getting paid off and they're corrupt. I've heard like it's just
Yeah.
straight up gang leaders, favela leaders. Who runs these places? Because like they don't abide by the government rules, right? They don't abide by really anything. It's their own rules, their
No.
own community, correct?
Yeah. But like the main thing like of people it's they're normal people man that run the favela like it could be you it could be me it could be anybody that just lives here that didn't for example the first way that you start here in the favela to join this gang thing you just watch the favela for example you just stay in the street and you tell the people when the cops are going to come That's the first thing that you do. You just watch the favela. And then what do? They see that they can trust you. They put some drugs on your hands for you to sell to get money. So they sell drugs, weed, crack, cocaine, those things. And that's basically what gives them money to run the favela. So they sell drugs, and what do they offer to the people that live here, the people that work hard and everything? What do they offer? They just offer security, and they just don't want the people to rat on them, to tell what they're doing to the cops. And like they do a pretty good job on the security, we can say, because nothing happens, man, in the favela. It's really, you can sleep with your door open, that nobody will come in your house. And like um so they're normal people, man, that just go getting higher in the rank, in the crime and the thug life, and then you go getting a better opportunity in the crime. Like then you start selling, and then after you start selling, you just start getting the money from the people that sold and giving it to the higher ranker dudes, the bosses of the favela. And then the boss of the favela is literally a guy that just stays chill. He just stays at his house and commands everything, tells people to sell when they need more drugs, when there's somebody that lives in the favela, a person that works, that is a right person. When somebody is in danger, he already finds out. Like usually it's somebody that grew up with everybody. So the boss of the favela is usually a guy that's like 50 years old that grew up in the favela. So everybody knows him. He knows everybody. So everybody that has a problem, they go talk to him and he accepts the thing. I'm not saying that he's a good person, because he probably has done a lot of bad things, like kill people, steal things, but they have a good side in them, that you can be certain. And here in the favela, they some people are afraid because they sell drugs, they stay with the guns and everything, but the guns is just for like basically what everybody does in war these days. They just want power. So like, I want to make more money, I'm gonna go take that favela for me, I'm gonna go kill the boss of that favela so I can command everybody. And that's what like generates the violence, because they want more power. Everybody wants more power. But there are lots of places like where I live, man, it's very calm. Nobody wants war with nobody. They're the people that sell drugs, they don't even stay with the guns in the street. They don't even stay with the drugs in their hands. Like you see the person is just there, they sell it like very, they hide and everything. So there's no shooting around here where I live. It's a big favela, very big. It has been dangerous in the beginning, where they had the wars to decide who's going to be the boss, and now everything's decided. So it's all right. It's not bad, man.
A lot of good points there. A thing you brought up earlier is kind of like, oh, let's go get from the rich people. They don't care about us, etc. I kind of want to bring up that victim mindset, because obviously there's a long history of the favela and why it happened. I know a lot of the times, like in Rio, they wanted the land, because it was good, and so they took all the poor people and shoved them in a little area and said, "You stay there. We're gonna build up this land,
Yeah,
and for us, it's beautiful, right?" Um, so I want to get into that, because obviously you have a pretty robust perception living in the States, well educated, doing well for yourself. But also, if we can talk about it, you were gang banging, like you're covered in tattoos. I want to hear
yeah,
what you think about that mindset, if it is prevalent in the favela, because it sounds like a lot of people stay there for their whole life, right? They don't necessarily leave. Maybe
yeah.
for good reasons, like you said, it's amazing community, it's fun, it's exciting, a lot of culture comes from there. It's not like, I saw some favelas in Rio where it's like, God damn, the inside looks pretty nice. Like, you guys pimped this out here, right? Or
Yeah.
is it like that? No, I'm always going to be a victim. Like, they'll never accept me outside. I'm just going to stay here and sit in my ways and not try to better myself. Do you see what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah, I understand. Here we use this saying, man, that we say favela venceu. That's like the favela won. So what do we say when we say we won? We win when we find a way to get out of here. Because we know that this place is good, it's amazing, we love it. But it's poor, man. There's nothing that we don't have a lot of things here. If we stay here, we're only going to stay here and not get our lives better and everything. So everybody wants to win in life. And that's what it is. We find a way to get a job and everything so we can get money and we can get out of here. We can buy a house in another place that's we know that it's dangerous because of the robbers and everything because that's where the people go to rob, but it's a better life because here it's not good, man. And it's good like the emotions, the love that people have, but for you to live here, man, it's very hard. Honestly, it's very hard to put food in your plate. There's a lot of people that don't get out of here, but they're fighting their whole life to survive. So like they have their children and they have to put food in their plate. They work so they can pay the rent and put the food. They don't get more money than just that. They can't save any money. They waste everything, paying the rent, paying the bills, buying food, buying clothes, those type of things. And like the good thing, I think that one thing that leaves us chill for us not to worry that much is the hospital idea here. Like they help us a lot. So everybody here in the favela, we have this thing called the SUS, and man, I have like a hospital right next to my house inside of the favela, and you can go there for free. You can pass through the doctors. They can see what you have, everything. They give you medicine for free. There's a lot of free things, so that keeps us like okay in the favela, so we can live. We have
How
a
how how fast is the timing though? Can you go in there and be out within an hour? Is good. Like the speed of the process of the hospital.
no the
You
speed.
wait.
It's pretty bad, man. It's
Yeah.
very like if you get there at 7 a.m., 7 in the morning. Honestly, they we always have older people too, man, that have more of a necessity of their health and everything. They're sicker. So we let them go first and everything. And usually it's more old people that are at the hospital. So like if I get there at 7, I'm probably gonna get out of the hospital at like 12. You
Oh,
know,
that's not
it's
terrible. That's not because
yeah.
like in Italy, I've been in a lot of places with free healthcare because the big thing is,
Mhm.
oh, USA, you have no free healthcare, blase, blase. But like in Italy, I went to go get a test, a sexual test, but they said that it's oh, yeah, it's all free, right? Go in there, so I get the little coupon thing, and I'm like,
Mhm.
hey, ciao, excuse me, help me. And it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. They're like, oh yeah, you'll probably get in around like 4 p.m. I said, the fuck. So I went to go get
Damn.
private. I'm like, I'm not waiting my whole day to get in line. So that's a whole nother topic, the whole free healthcare things. But I do know a girl who is a doctor in a favela, a couple hours away from Belo Horizonte,
Mhm.
and she says too, like they really do a good job taking care of the people in there for what they can. But okay, let's get into some more clicky bait stuff. So the gang banging. So okay, you grew up in the favela. You moved to the USA when you were 6. We still need to talk about
Mhm.
the USA stuff too. Might as well actually, yeah. Let's hold that the gang banging for later.
Mhm.
Take me through living there, what you learned, being an illegal immigrant. Yeah, just like the lessons of that experience. Because you were there for how many years?
6 years, man.
Yeah. So take
So
me through that.
I basically, man, I consider myself very blessed, man, to be able to have that opportunity to go to the US. Because my dad, he went illegally. Me, I got the visa for 6 months and I went. So I went legally. I went everything normal. Me, my mom, and my two brothers. We went legally. Just my dad went illegally.
Did they know your dad was already there?
No.
Okay, so that's why, and they're like, you guys are going on vacation,
Yeah, yeah, we got the
Okay,
tourist visa.
gotcha.
And then we got it for 6 months, but we got there in the US and me and my brothers, we grew up without our father. So my mom was like, we finally got the chance to get the family all together and let's not separate this family. So we stayed there for the 6 months and we tried to renew our visa. We went there and tried to renew it, but they denied it for us and they said no, you guys have to go back. But if
Your
we went
father, hold on, your father was like making money and stuff too, right? He wasn't
yeah,
like
he's the one
not
that
the government.
yeah, so he went there, just like we said, we say the favela won when we get out of here. And my dad got a chance to get out. So he got out of Brazil and he kept man, he kept us alive, honestly, me and my family alive because he was working, sending money to us. He built like he not built because we built the house. He built the house from scratch. But while he was in the U.S., he was sending money. We were paying people to upgrade our house, to get our house bigger, get our house better. So honestly, me, I live in a pretty decent house here in the favela. It's a pretty big house, comfort. I have nothing to complain. But so like he was making a lot of money to help us. And he lived there. My dad lived in the US for 11 years. We lived there for 6. So like 5 years without even having contact with it. So then they denied it and we didn't come back, man. So we stayed there. My dad continued working a lot, my mom working a lot to maintain us alive and keep getting our
What
lives
were they
better.
doing? Well, so what were they
What?
doing? Like for being illegal, what kind of jobs were they doing?
My dad was a carpenter
Okay.
and my mom was a house cleaner. So she would she'd have a lot of houses, man. She'd clean a lot of houses. She would work very hard. My dad would build a lot of houses, and we met a lot of people, man. Especially a lot of Americans. I love the USA because we had a lot of help from a lot of people. My mom and dad they studied English at separate schools so they could learn. I went to school, man. I got there. I was 5 years old and I was gonna be six on the next month. So I was very young. I got into the school. I couldn't understand what anybody was saying, man. I've never studied English in my life. So I would cry, man, inside the class. I would like, what is everybody saying? I want my mom. I don't know anybody here. I've never been in this situation.
You were 6 years old at this point?
Yeah, 6 years
Yeah.
old. And then even for me to drink water, man, I would like raise my hand and I would do this. I didn't even know how to ask to drink water. To go to the bathroom, I would do this and make like a face. Honestly, man, it was pretty bad. But like, thank God I got this woman that would work at the school. She could speak English, she'd speak Spanish, she'd speak Portuguese, she'd speak a lot of different languages, honestly. And she got me, my brother, and some other kids that were from different countries. And she would take us out during our school time and give us some English lessons and everything. Then she'd send us back to the class and we would have to do that. So like it was pretty hard because we had to learn English and study with the kids at the same time and go up. So I went from first grade all the way to sixth grade, and then I came back. And I had a very good life from that time, from 6 to 12 years old, honestly. Consider like comparing to the kids from my age that were my friends here in Brazil, I was like, I had the best life in the world, man. I had the best life in the world because here everybody suffered, man. My neighbor that lived in front of my house, when I got back, he's not here anymore. He died, like gang banging.
At how
And
old? How old was he?
man, he was younger than 18. He was probably like 15, 16.
That's the kid you like grew up with or playing with when you were back
Yeah,
there?
when I got back, he was already dead. I got back, I was like 12. So he was like 2 years older or even 1 year older. I don't remember that much his age, but and then the other kid that so my street right here, I would hang out with like four people, and that was the neighbor that died, and then the other kid that I would hang out with, he doesn't get out of his house, man. I don't know why. Like he would hang out with that kid that died, but he doesn't get out of his house. He just stays in his house the whole day. Ever since I got here, I've never seen the kid on the street, and he never gets out. He's very big. He's fat. Like for staying inside the house, you know how it is if a person just doesn't do anything. So he's one, and the other one, he's a kid that thank God he didn't get into the gang banging and anything. He was a very good kid, and now he moved all the way to the north of Brazil to this place, Macapá. It's like near the Amazons, and he's doing some things for God, man, for church. So he went to a good direction. One died, and the other one just stays in his house. He's like in a big depression, man. And like after I got here in Brazil, like that I got into that gang banging things. I honestly, man, I was 11 years old, 12 years old, so like I didn't have the mindset to be able to go through what I was going through, honestly, because nowadays I would do it totally different because I got here and it was very hard. So um those are the only things that I could do. Or I could go to church and get with God and fix my life, like trust him, or I could get into a depression, or I could get into the gang banging and die. Those are
Wait,
like
wait.
the
So
only
tell me,
three things.
tell me this though. So you're having a blast. You're happy. You went through the hard, no English phase, and you start being accepted, right? And all of a sudden, boom, you got to go back to the favela, and you had no idea
Yeah.
what's going on. So yeah, take me through that mindset. So you just had this little fairy tale in the United States, and now it all comes crashing down on you, and you're getting sent back to Brazil. Where's your head at?
Yeah, and that was the hardest part because I didn't. It wasn't just that. Like 1 year before we came back, so on my fifth year in the United States, my dad got deported. So like that was like
How did that happen? So they just found him working? Like, did he get reported? Like, what happened?
no. What happened was he was driving and then he there was a stop sign. So he stopped like I don't think he stopped for the right amount of time because he
Yeah.
just looked, stopped, saw that there was no one coming and he went. But there was a cop car coming way behind and they saw him doing that, like just seeing that there wasn't any cars and going. And then they went after him, stopped him, brought him to the police station, and got his fingerprints. And they said, "No, you're fine. You don't have any criminal records or anything. I'm just gonna tell you that you have to pay more attention and actually stop and stay at the stop sign for a little bit. Because if any other cops see you doing that, just stop, look, and go, they're gonna want to stop your car. They're gonna want to bring you to the police station. So just do what you got to do, man. Stop and actually stop and look. But you're free to go. You can go back to your house. You don't have any criminal records, nothing." And then it passed like 3, 5 days, and the immigration just went to my house and got my dad with the clothes that he was with, and got just him. We were there on our fifth year, and we had the visa for 6 months, and they got just my dad inside the house. I was sleeping. My middle brother was sleeping. Just my mom and my older brother were awake. So I didn't even see my dad leaving, man.
So they
And
just
that,
boom, knocked on the door, took him out.
yeah, and just said you're gonna get deported because you're here illegally. What was he gonna say? Nothing,
Yeah.
because
Well,
he
why? Yeah. Why
actually
did they
was.
get you guys?
I don't know. I still don't understand that.
So yeah,
But
you
it's
get this.
because my dad, he's been to the U.S. before. Like, I was born, man. When I was born, my dad had already went to the U.S. and got deported. And then I got born. He was like, "Oh shit, I got another son. Now I gotta get gotta get more money to keep my family alive. So I'm gonna go back to the United States. I don't care. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna work more to give my more money to my family." And he went back, man. So like I think, but he had I don't know if he had been one time to the US or two times. I'm not sure, but this time that he stayed there, he got to stay there for 11 years and then he got deported.
Okay. So then one day, boom, your dad's gone, and now you're like, what the fuck? So then when did they send you guys home?
And then they didn't send us home. We
You,
bought our tickets and everything and came back home on an airplane with our passports. And
so yeah, this was out of the blue. Then this shook up your guys' world, right? So
yeah,
yeah,
because
tell
like
me
as
what you
soon
went
as
through
my
again.
dad got deported, my brother, my middle brother, he started smoking weed and he started getting out of the house, drinking, and that got my mom crazy, man. My mom would cry next to me, and I would be like, "Damn." My brother, my older brother, would cry. He's like, "Wow, my dad's gone, and now my brother, he's getting into this drug life. He's starting to use drugs and everything. That's gonna fuck up our life." But like and then all of a sudden my mom was like, "I can't take this anymore. I'm not gonna take this anymore." Because my big brother, he was wanting to be our father because my dad wasn't there. So he would wanna beat us, he would wanna like tell us not to do things. And my middle brother, he wouldn't accept it. He's like, "Nah, man, you can't tell me what to do. You're not my dad. You know, you shut up, man." And then my older brother wouldn't accept it and they would get into fights. I would see like my two brothers fighting, like punching each other in the face, almost killing each other in front of me, and I would be like, "Oh my god," and my mom crying. It was a pretty crazy situation, man. And then all of a sudden, my mom was like, "I can't take this anymore. I'm gonna go back to your father, and you stay there." So my biggest brother, my older brother, he stayed in the U.S. He got married. He got his documents. Today he's legal. He can come to Brazil and go back anytime. He helps us a lot. And my mom came back, and ever since she came back, we stayed here with my dad. So my brother was another one that was very afraid to come back to Brazil because we knew how the world was here, how the favela was. Like we thought that we knew, but we ended up actually knowing when we got here. So like it was pretty crazy, man. And then all of a sudden we were here in Brazil, like without
Okay, so here we go. Here
anything.
we go. Yeah, take me through this. When you get on the plane to go back to Brazil, where is your mindset at? You just spent the last 5 years in USA, like formative years. You know what I mean? Probably when you're 5 and below, you don't remember much, right? So this is like your
Yeah.
life basically in the USA. You're on the plane ride and you're thinking about the Modern Warfare 2, the favela. Like, fuck, I gotta go back and live with that. What's going on in your head? What are you thinking? Like, what's your opportunities? You're gonna go to school, etc.
That honestly, man, I was just thinking like I was thinking I was gonna live my life the best way possible, like try to maintain control of everything that I'm doing, keep my mom happy, keep my dad happy. And I already came here to Brazil thinking I'm not going to stay here for the rest of my life. I'm going to find a way to go back to the US cuz unfortunately, man, like for a Brazilian to live here in Brazil, it's very hard, man. I love Brazil. It's beautiful. There are very good parts here in Brazil. There are very bad parts, but there are very beautiful parts. Like you said, everybody has pride in the favela. We love this place. Like I never want to sell this house. I want to have this house forever. I want to be in this favela forever. But I don't want to live here. I want to come here. I want to see everybody. I want to help out the best way that I can. I want to give people things, donate people things and everything, come back to help people get a better life. But I want to live in a different place because here, man, your work, you don't get like the value of your work. You don't sometimes you work and you don't get paid. Like it's crazy, man. It's and they don't pay you. They leave it like as that. Like my dad, a bunch of times he was working here, they would like his payment would come way late and he we have responsibilities, we have bills to pay and those things, so we can't like be accepting that. And it's not just on my dad's work, a bunch of people's work here, people they don't care, man. They give you the money late. They say they're gonna give you the money one day. They gave you the money like 2 weeks after. Oh shit! Almost threw my phone on the ground.
The
But
best thing I ever heard is Brazil is about suffering. Unless you got money, then it's a paradise. 100%. If you have money in
yeah,
Brazil, it's like candy.
facts.
Okay,
That's
so
true.
you have a good mindset, optimistic mindset, flying back into Brazil. Now you get there. Now, I mean, obviously, don't you think you're? I mean, you're not even Brazilian, basically, because your formative years were in the USA when you got there, right? So, do you feel like you fit in? Do you feel like you're maybe smarter, like more educated than the normal favela upbringing? I'm curious, like the mindset then, and then how did it transition into the gangbanging?
Man, it was pretty good. Honestly, like I got to fit in. Everybody would be amazed. They're like, "Oh my god, you're gringo." you're honestly my nickname and my brother's nickname here. It's Gringo Americano. I'm not joking, man. They call us American. They
You were
call
like
us
popular
gringos.
then. Well, you were like Mr. Popular, like, oh, I'll
Yeah,
tell you about New
it's
York City and all that. Yeah.
everybody. They're like, "Oh, how do you say this in English? How do you say that? How do you say this?" It was a whole day. English lessons in school. I would help everybody on the tests, on the activities. I'd give everybody the answers. But like, and then, but that was the good thing was English. That's like the only good thing for me in school that time because everything else, man, I had to start from like basically from zero because I got here, I was on seventh grade. So seventh grade is not an easy grade, man, for school. I don't know if you think that, but I think that here in Brazil, one of the hardest grades is seventh grade. And then the teachers would like, "Oh my God, you're so slow." Like in the Portuguese things, the grammar things for the actual Portuguese language, even science and geography, all those school subjects. For me, it was hard because I didn't study that when I was young here in Brazil, so everything is different. And then I would have a hard time. I would have more difficulty, and the teachers would be like, "Oh my God, you think that you're in the United States? If you're here in Brazil, you have to study hard if you want to pass. It's not easy like in the United States." I'm like, "You think that it's easy in the United States? You don't even know what you're saying." For me, it's hard here because I didn't even study this language. You don't understand. you're saying words that I don't even know what it means. You got to help me with that. And then, man, it just kept on getting worse and worse. I would have a hard time. The seventh grade I passed, and then the eighth grade I I didn't pass, man. So I stayed back on eighth grade, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna try again. Then I tried again, and I stayed back again, man, because like it was really hard, man. Honestly, I think it was harder than me getting to the USA when I was six because like
You weren't a dumb kid in the school in the USA, were you?
no, I would get, man, I would get very good grades. I would get student of the week, student of the month, student of the year, everything, man. I would get a lot of things, awards. I have a lot of awards here. I was a good student, but like I think this thing with my dad, I don't know what happened. It kind of like everything got together and crushed up. But then I got here in Brazil. But seventh grade is way harder than first grade. So like I got to the United States, I was in first grade as a little kid. I didn't know any language. I didn't know any English. But I got here to Brazil. I knew some Portuguese because my mom has always taught me Portuguese inside our house. So I knew the basic Portuguese. I could live here. I could talk. I could express myself. But there are lots of different words, a lot of hard words, and I couldn't understand, man. There's a lot of things that I couldn't do because I didn't understand. Reading was very hard for me. I would read in front of the class. Everybody would laugh at me reading the words wrong and everything. Even today, man, honestly, I speak. Sometimes people are saying some words in Portuguese. I'm like, can you explain to me what that is? Because I don't know what that is. Like,
You think you
it's
speak better English than Portuguese?
yeah, I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because Portuguese, it's there's all these accents, all these signs on the letters, man, and it changes everything, honestly. In English, I think English is way easier for you to learn than Portuguese. So like,
Okay, hold on. I don't want to get off track. You're a good storyteller, but so you failed eighth grade twice. So usually when people start failing this shit, they're well, first of all, maybe insecure, like you said, people laughing at you. So maybe it's
yeah,
like, okay, let me be the cool guy, go smoke some weed, or be a tough guy, like to overcompensate for that. So is this where kind
hmm
of the downfall started happening, or I mean, are you doing any
yeah,
extracurricular stuff? You playing soccer, football, or anything at this
yeah.
point?
Right, like right now, I play football, and man, that was the best thing that happened to me. That was like the main thing that I think got me off the gang banging. We're gonna get to that in a little bit. So like me, I that was exactly the point where I started doing some bad things. Like I dropped out of school. I stayed back 2 years. On the third year, I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna try because I'm not gonna pass. Like I studied for like 3 months on my third year, and then I'm like, you know what? It's not gonna work out. I'm just gonna leave because then the people are gonna see that I'm not here anymore, and then they're gonna miss me. They're gonna see how it is. And then I got out, and then I started, man. I started getting to these bad companies and everything because it's very easy for you to join the gangbanging things here in Brazil. Like it's just that they need you, they want you, they want the little kids to not the little kids. They want like once you're 15, 16, man, they think you're ready because you already have a mindset of what you can do and what you can't do. So like I dropped out of school, started hanging out with these kids, and then I started to here in my favela, I started to sell drugs, those things and everything. And past a couple of weeks, the people here were like, "Man, if I were you, I wouldn't stay there because like the people in this favela, they don't like you. You know they don't like your brother because you got the chance to live in the United States, and not everybody got that chance. So they don't like you. You know that." And then I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna get out of this favela and I'm gonna go sell drugs at another favela." So I got out of this favela and I went to another favela that the guys were more dangerous and the everything was more dangerous, man. This place that I went, so I started selling there, and
Well, you weren't living there though. You're still living with your family, and you'd
yeah, still living with my family.
each day commute to the new favela for a job. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, cause my brother, man, my brother, he got into the crime before me, my middle brother, cause he was the one that was like, he was the most afraid of getting here in Brazil. So when we got here, we were like, he was so afraid that what did he think? He's like, I'm not gonna get on the wrong side of these thugs. Are you crazy? I'm gonna join them so they don't do nothing bad to me. And he like, I think he dropped out of school in like he just finished 1 year. No, he didn't even finish 1 year, man. He stayed back all the years that he studied here. And like he dropped out on his second year. He stayed back 1 year on eighth grade and dropped out on the next year. And he already started gangbang and everything, but he never did anything here where we live. He already went straight to that favela that was there, that was more dangerous and everything. So then I was like, wow, I'm gonna get out of here and I'm gonna go join the favela where my brother is. So then I got there and I started selling at this other place, selling drugs, and all of a sudden I went to jail, man. The first time as a
Oh,
little kid,
hold on.
I
Before you go to
was
that jail, before you go to that jail part, how much were you making a day dealing dope, and what were you selling?
man, here in my favela where I live, I was selling only weed. Yeah. Oh no, I sold cocaine too. But that I was making only a little bit of money, man, cuz here in this place, this favela, you don't sell a lot of drugs and get a lot of money. So I was making like you could say like 150 reals a day.
Okay, so I mean, still $30 in Brazil. It's not bad for a kid.
No, 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 $30. No. Oh yeah, $30, right? If you
Yeah,
change
that's pretty good for a
the
kid in
reals to
Brazil.
dollars.
No.
Yeah, that's very good. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
So then
Cause
that was
like
the first favela that doesn't do as well. So you went to the next favela, and then what were you making over there?
yeah, and then over there the things changed, man. Cause like I went to this other favela where my brother. It was this favela that was next to the one that my brother was. But they were from the same owner and everything. So I sold drugs there and I went to jail. All right, I met up with my brother in jail when I went to talk to the judge and everything. My brother was there to get sentenced too. So then he got crazy. He's like, what are you doing here, man? Are you crazy? You're selling drugs. I told you not to get into that life. I told you that this is not a life for you to live. I told you to not go to the path that I was going. I told you to get out of this. I told you to be a man, man. I told you to do good, man. I told you to bring happiness to my mom and everything. And I was like, man, but you don't understand. It's not like that. You don't know how hard it is out there. You don't know how hard life was. I had to join. And then he's like, you know what, man? All right then. And then we separated there and I got out. The first time I went to jail here, I got out on the same day at night. So like
Hey, how'd they
um
pick you up though? Hold on, let me expand on this. So you were out there. It was at night. I mean, who picked you up? You didn't run from the cops. Like, how'd you get arrested?
no, I like man, it was crazy, man. I was in the favela. I
And you're
was selling,
how
but
old are you this time again?
I was like 15,
Okay.
15, yeah. So like um like honestly, I said I'm not gonna go to school, but you think I didn't tell my mom that I was gonna drop out of school. I would get out of our house in the morning with my backpack, saying that I was going to school, but I was gonna go sell dope. So I went there and everything. I was selling drugs, like I said. Some places you don't stay with the gun in your hands and nothing. In that favela that was next to the one that my brother was, I wasn't even with nothing on my hands. I wasn't with the drugs. I wasn't with the gun, and I was just smoking a joint with two kids that stole a motorcycle early on that day.
Mm.
And they bought the stolen motorcycle to the favela. They kept it inside the favela. So the all of a sudden I was looking at the guy that was watching the favela for me, and he was jumping and everything on top of the I don't even know how we can say this in English, but instead of a roof, we actually built like this solid concrete on top of our house. So we keep our watchers on top of those places, on top of the houses. And he was jumping up there. I was like, and then all of a sudden I saw him jumping. I was like, hey, is it we say like, is everything chill? Cause if like I just screamed, is everything okay? And then when I screamed, is everything okay? The cop just turned right next to me with the gun in my face. He's like, lay down, lay down, lay down. You lost, you lost, you lost. You're arrested, you're arrested. I'm gonna shoot, I'm gonna shoot. And I was like, damn, I just went to the ground and my friends went to the ground too. And then they're like, hey, you're selling drugs here. You guys are selling, right? I'm like, no. And then he's like, then who was asking the watcher, is everything okay? And I was like, I said that everything was okay. I was affirming that everything was okay because we're not selling drugs. And he was trying to tell us to run. And I was like, no, I'm not going to run. It's everything's okay. We're not selling drugs. We're just smoking a joint. You can see, look at the joint that we're smoking. If I was a thug, do you think if I was a thug, I would be smoking a big, big, big joint. I wouldn't be smoking a normal joint. I said that, and then they're like, oh, all right. But I think you guys are selling. They started searching the favela for everything, and they found the motorcycle. And then they're like, hey, we found a motorcycle here, and it's robbed. Whose motorcycle is this? Who robbed it? And it was the kid. The kid had stolen it. I was like, man, just tell the cops that you stole it, man. You're gonna let everybody go to jail because of you. And he's like, no, man, I'm not gonna tell him that it was mine, man. I'm not gonna rat out the kid. I'm gonna say it's his. No. So I just waited, and then the cops went inside, started searching at some houses, and they found the helmet to go on the motorcycle, and they found the key of the motorcycle inside of a house and the kid's girlfriend. So they brought the kid's girlfriend and the helmet and the key, and they're like, now we have her too, and we're gonna go with everybody to jail if you don't tell me who the motorcycle is. I want one person. I just want one person. You talk to each other and find out whose motorcycle this is so I can bring him to jail, and the rest of you are free. The kid didn't say it was his. So like they brought all of us to jail. All four of us.
One point I want to make. So the police that go into the favela, they drive different cars, right? And they're stacked and they have huge guns and they don't play games. Like they go in there and they can shoot to kill if they want, right? They don't really
Yeah.
need to do anything.
I have a lot of friends that died, man, in the hands of the cops. That cops shot them. I have friends that the cops shot, man. They shot him with an assault rifle, man. It was crazy, man. They were cowards. They shot my friend with an assault rifle, and he didn't even have any guns in his hand, man. He was just running, and they shot him. He's stitched up from up here. He's all cut open, all the way to his belly button, and he's still in jail. He's already 3 years that he's in jail. So the cops got him, shot him, and they said that he shot them first, and they put a gun on his hands, man. Honestly, and he's paying jail time as like he tried to kill the cop. So it was a homicide trying on a cop. That's like the
Yeah, you're
worst
done
thing you
for
can
life
do.
with that.
Yeah,
And
and
you
like
know for a fact he didn't do that?
I know for a fact he didn't do that. I would sell drugs next to him. We didn't have any guns in our hands that time. And the cops shot him, man. They shot not just him, they shot another friend of mine too, and another friend of mine. But the other friend of mine didn't get shot with the assault rifle. He got shot by the pistol, and he stayed better. This other friend of mine, man, that got shot by the assault rifle, he stayed in coma 3 months before he went to jail. So he got out of coma, already went to jail.
Damn. Now, obviously, yeah, in Brazil, I think it's fair to say that police don't really give a fuck about the favela kids a lot of the times,
They don't.
especially the dudes in those one cars. But then again, the favela are shooting back sometimes too. Like there's
Yeah.
full blown wars. So I would be, if I was a policeman, one of those military police or whatever in Brazil, I would be pretty scared too. So
Yeah, me too, man. Are you crazy? I wouldn't even join the police because I know that they live this constant war, man. You can't
and they're
even
not
get out
getting
of.
paid shit either. Like that would
Yeah.
be a brutal job in Brazil.
Like most of the places here too in Belo Horizonte, why it's more chill because the bosses of the favela, they pay the cops.
Yeah.
So the cops, what do? They don't even go in the favela. They say, you guys can sell your drugs, you guys can do whatever you want. We're not even gonna go in there. If we go, we're just gonna pass by and get out. You guys do your things. That's how
But
they do. And
keep it contained though. They don't want it spilled out. Then they have problems. If it spills out into outside the favela, then the police get really mad. No,
yeah, obviously
that's why. Like in Belo Horizonte, I would see police stops all the time leading out of the city because then they would always check the dudes on the bikes because a lot of them favela guys like, okay, do you have any stolen shit? Go through it. And then like when I'd be with someone like a girl or a person that was white, come on right through. You're good.
Yeah, they don't even stop you.
Yeah,
Here,
but
it's crazy.
So I was staying, for a little bit in the Airbnb when I was there, and it was like near a favela, like pretty damn close. And I remember one of those military police or the ones that go check on the favelas would drive by a lot at night, really slowly. And this dude, like this fucking car was like decked out, and then there was like big guns, and he just looked mad, like staring at everyone. And I'm like, oh, I gotta get a video of this. This is Brazil, right next to like, dude, put your fucking phone down. Like he can just start shooting if you wanted to. Like there's no rules for these guys. Like they don't play games.
That's true. And honestly, I've seen cops using drugs like in front of me. They would get a lot of times and they got me full of drugs. And what did they do? They let me go. They're like, oh, you can go. I'm not going to bring you to jail. I'm going to stay with this all for me. And they stay with the drugs all for them. So when you see them, they are on the cars. They're like with the guns out of the car looking like that and everything. man, they use cocaine. You can know that for a fact. I've gotten cops that got me. They're like, I'm gonna use this drug and I'm gonna come back here. If this drug is not good, you're gonna see what I'm gonna do with you. I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you. They say
They said
that,
it
man.
to you.
Yeah, they've pointed guns at my foot. They're like, tell me the password to your phone. I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you the password to my phone. Are you crazy? That's invasion of privacy. And they're like, if you're not gonna tell me the password to your phone, I'm gonna shoot you in the foot. Simple as that. And I'm like, then you're gonna shoot me in the foot. I'm not gonna tell you the answer to my phone, the password to my phone, because like I had the conversation with all my bosses, with everybody, with all the thugs, where the drug was, everything with, and they want you to they want to know everything about you. So they want your phone, they want to check your photos and everything. And I didn't let them. I would never let them. I've seen my friends die right in front of me because they ratted out the boss. They opened their phone so the boss could see, and the boss would get the number the so the cops could see. So the cop would get the number of the boss and already call him. He's like, I'm here with your with your drug dealer, and you got to give me something or else I'm not gonna let him go. So like the one thing that you can't do in the favela if you're selling drugs is rat, man. You can't rat out on anybody. That will give you straight death, man. And I never did that. Man, I've fainted in the hands of the cops a bunch of times, and they would choke the fuck out of me. I would just faint, poof, and then I'd wake up getting punched in the face. They would put things under my nails. Honestly, man, they would punch me in the face. A lot of punches in the face. They would break things on my head, like some sticks, some big ass wooden sticks. They would get me and hit me in the head, pow, and break it. One day they got a vine, like a vine. You know how it is, a vine with a lot of thorns, on that vine. Man, they sat me down and they said, "You're gonna get beaten right now. You're gonna see, motherfucker." They started hitting me with the vine, man, full of thorns, like ripping my legs, man. They would like cutting my legs open with the vine full of thorns, man. That was like at 2 in the morning. They went to the favela and got me in the favela all by myself. I was selling with no watchers. Nobody was watching for me. I was all there all by myself, just selling and looking. I was looking. All of a sudden, I ran. When I ran, the cop just jumped out of nowhere. Boop. You lost, you lost, you lost. Get on the ground, get on the ground. I was like, damn, I lost.
Okay, hold on, hold on
Yes.
a second. Okay. I got a couple things. So I want to get back on the timeline. After you got out of jail the first time, but
Mhm.
yeah, that was a lot of stuff right there. That was crazy. So about the snitching part, and I told you this beforehand. Like I prefer not to do this anonymous, so I can do clips. But what you're doing right now is not dry snitching. You don't believe? You think everything's gonna be fine? Because I don't want
Yeah,
to.
man, chill. That everybody knows. Here in Brazil, we know how it is, man. Like,
Because you're not naming
my,
names. You're not naming names. So
yeah, and honestly, like me, I get a chance, man, to tell everybody this. Honestly, if I tell you my whole life story, man, you're gonna see what I went through, man, because it was hard, man. Especially in my time in the crime and the gangbang, it was very hard, and I just consider myself very blessed. And I tell everybody my story, man. If I sometimes when I'm telling my story, I even cry, man, remembering everything, what made my mom go through and everything. Like I've gotten shot by the cops too, man, and it was pretty bad, man. But
you got
like,
the bullet hole. You got the wound.
yeah, but it didn't like actually go in my body. It just passed. I don't know how to say it when it.
Grazed.
Yeah, just like that. And that man, it was in a place. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see like right here. Do you see it?
Oh shit! Yeah,
Right
that's a
here.
great. Yeah, that looks like a legit graze wound. Fuck.
Yeah, and man, it was right here, like on my head. If that bullet came right here, I would never walk again, man. I would even die, man. Honestly.
Wait, hold on. What was this situation? Tell me this situation. This getting shot
Damn,
at.
this day was pretty crazy, man. We were like, so we were set. I wasn't even supposed to be there that day. I was I was at the favela at the place where the people would sell drugs, and we used radios too to monitor everything. We have our watchers with walkie-talkies, radios, because here we say radios, but there it's walkie-talkies. And we were with our walkie-talkie. There was like 6 people, 6 thugs, and all of a sudden on the walkie-talkie, we just heard like hello, good afternoon, but in Portuguese, obviously. Opa, boa tarde. And then my friend, he got the walkie-talkie. He's like, good afternoon, my ass, you motherfucker. Fuck you. He said that. Man, when he said that, like 3 cop cars just started going down the avenue where they would come into the favela. 3 cop cars So it was an S10, that's a Chevrolet, a big cop car, a little Palio Weekend that we call it. It was a little smaller cop car, and another big cop car behind. So 3 cop cars. That's a total of like 15 cops. And they came down with their sirens on, and we're like, hey, watch if they're gonna come in, watch if they're gonna come in the favela, watch if they're gonna come in. Then all of a sudden they just came in. The kids like, they came in, man, they came in. So we started running to the place that we would run normally. It was like to the middle of the woods. When we walked to the middle, we were gonna go to this place like straight in the middle of the woods, but when we would go straight, the cops would be there waiting for us, like in the middle of the woods. So that was war. If they could kill us anytime in the middle of the woods running. So like we would, instead of go straight, we would make a little curve and continue and go in the other way. That's what we did. We all did the curve, and everybody running. And then 3 kids got up into the woods. That was, my brother was first, and he was with a gun in his hand. The watcher went after, and I went after my brother and this other kid. There was 4 people that went in. This other kid that was selling with my brother went in after me. So us 4 got inside the woods. When we got inside, all I heard was, "You lost, you lost, you lost." And I was like, who would joke around with that? I was with a big strawberry and passion fruit smoothie on my hand. I was drinking. It was amazing. It was so delicious. And I just heard, I was like, who the fuck is joking like that? When I looked to the side, the cop just got up from the ground. A bunch of cops. It was like 5 cops just got up from the ground. "You lost, you lost, you lost." And then my brother was with the gun, so he ran so much. After I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what my brother did. That was crazy, man. This thing was crazy. And then he ran so much, and I also ran. I just threw my smoothie up and continued running. And then I was running on, like, there was this it was basically the stream that we have all of the water that passes through, all the neighborhoods go in, so it was very dirty water. We would cross that to get inside the woods. Do you know what I mean? So then I was running like on the side of the woods here and the stream over here. I was running over here. So like anytime any cop could come out of the woods and grab me. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna jump inside this stream because all my friends were inside. And man, when the cop said, "You lost," they're making noise right now that something's probably happening. Today this guy died in our favela. Honestly.
You said right now you hear noise? I didn't hear it. There's
Yeah, the
something going on.
cop noises. They're the sirens. So like, and man, they were shooting so much, man. They were shooting at us. I was
No, come on. You're running on the side next to the river. Then what?
Yeah, and they're shooting at us. So like there were like 5 more kids inside the water, me right here, and my brother went inside the woods, and I was running, and the cops were just shooting, man. I was just
They're on the
listening
other side of the river. They're on the other side of the river.
from behind us because like
Oh, behind. Okay.
yeah, because when we went inside, we were gonna go straight, but then they came from like right here, so we ran over here on the side of the river, and we continued, and they were like right here shooting behind us. And they were shooting so much all the time. Pow, 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 pow. I was just listening to the gunshots and seeing them getting on the ground. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to jump and I'm going to go together with my friends. So when I jumped, like it was like a hill right here and the stream was like this low. So I had to jump from here inside. So I jumped. When I jumped, man, I just felt something like throwing me all the way to the front. And I just, damn, I got like it was like I got tackled, man, from the back. Poof, and I just fell with my face inside that dirty water in the stream and just bow. And then I was with my phone in my hands. I used my phone to get up. I just got up and I started running. Poof, poof, poof. And that I had already been shot, and I was running. When I stopped, I threw up. And then I was like, you know what, man? We're going to lose, man. We're going to get arrested, me with my friend. And then my other friend went under the street, and he passed through the water under the avenue, man, where the cops went down. He passed under the avenue inside the stream, and I stopped at the, like, before we got under the thing. I stopped and I was like, man, it's chill, it's chill. And then all of a sudden we started hearing the voices. They came this way, they came this way. Keep your gun ready because they're with the gun, get ready to shoot. And I was like, oh shit, they're getting close. Then what we did, we got up and we got back to the favela. There was a shitload of cops in the favela where we were gonna go. So like we saw this woman, she was there, and I was like, help us. And she's like, come, come, come. And me and my friend, we ran like that after I got shot, I was running, man. I was running almost destroyed. And we were going, we're like, help us, please. Then she's like, come inside, come inside. And then we went inside of her house. And then after that, we just went up the stairs because it was a little apartment. We went all the way up the stairs and we got inside of our friend's house because he would live there. And then I was like, when I laid down, man, on his bed, I threw up like 5 times, feeling pain, man. And then all of a sudden, I fainted and I woke up. I was already like on the bed, full of vomit all over the place. And I was like, "Where's my brother? Where's my brother? Where's my brother?" I don't know what happened. I heard gunshots. I heard a lot of gunshots, and he was with the gun. That time, I thought that my brother died, man. But then all of a sudden, my brother shows up,
At
and
the
then he's like,
apartment?
"Yeah, but look what happened. He like the cops got him and he had time to hide the gun. So what did he do? He said then they got him and they got the watcher. So they were like, "Hey, um you know what? You're 18. So if you go to jail, you're going to stay a long time. You're not a minor, you're not under 18, so not going to jail, you're going to go to the real jail. And you, the watcher, was under 18. He was like 16, 15. So he's like, what do you want to do? We can do something, man. We can do something. We can let you go and we can bring him to jail with everything that we got, all the drugs. But we need you to give us a gun. We need you to give us a gun, and then we can let you go, and we'll bring just the minor." And then my brother's like, "Oh, hell yeah, I got a gun for you right now." Because he had time to hide it. So he went. The cops were like, "All right, I'll give you some time. You go get the gun and bring it back, and you're free to go." And then my brother, he went inside the woods, the same woods. He just went there, but there were cops all over the place. So he went, got the gun, and gave the gun to the cops. And the cops were like, "All right, you can go." And just let my brother go.
Wait, was
They
the
got
minor down? Was the minor down with this, or was he snitching on the minor? Or it
No,
was
the
a
minor was with him. They got into a deal. They're like, "Hey, man, you know that I'm the one that's selling, and you're the watcher. So I'm a rank on top.
oh yeah, yeah.
In the favela.
You
I'm
gotta
bigger
take it,
than
yeah.
you. I'm more than you. So you have to
And you're
take
older,
everything from me and go to jail for me."
yeah, because
And
otherwise
that's
you'd
what
be.
Yeah, and that's what happened. So then all of a sudden my brother got back and he's like, "Man, I'm fine. Thank God. I had time." Then he explained everything. But the gun wasn't ours. It was the guys from the favela. So what did we have to do? We had to pay. The same day, man. In that time, I was selling drugs. We were making more than 1,000 reals per day, man. More than 1,000 reals per day.
Two hundred
Me,
dollars for the listeners. $200 a day. A lot
yeah,
in
and
Brazil.
yeah, that's a lot. And I was like 16 years old, 17 years old. I lived by myself when I was 16, man. I rented my own house and I was living by myself. I got out of my mom's house when I started to make more money in the new favela that I went.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, like in the area he's living, $600 a month is a pretty decent salary in Brazil today. So not 6 years ago when you were, or 5 years ago. How old are you now?
Mm, Now I'm 20.
Yeah, so 4 years ago. So it's inflation or whatnot, but $600 a month is good money in Brazil to this day. And you were making 200 a day at 16.
Yeah, 16. And that's
Wait,
money
okay,
that people.
hold on.
What?
Let's get back on track though. Great story. So okay, the first time you went to jail, your brother screams at you saying, "What are you doing? You know, you need to be good and don't do what I did." So you
Yeah.
get released. You stay there because it was just for a stolen bike, right? So you get released. Now you go back out there. Do you have any change of mind? I mean, the first time you got arrested, are you thinking
No,
like,
no. I like me, man. Honestly, the time that it took for me to change my mindset was 6 times, man. I had to go to jail 6 times so I could change. Cause like the first time I got out, and then
you went to
I
jail
got out.
6 times?
Yeah, man. But
All
juvie,
before,
only juvie
all
for
before 18. Okay.
yeah, all before 18. When I was like, there was 3 months, 2 months before I made 18. I decided to get out of this because I knew that shit was gonna happen. So like I went back and then I got out of jail and then my brother got out too. So my brother was like, "Hey man, you know what? You're deciding to sell drugs. You really want to do this, man? Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna do this. I don't care. I'm up for anything." And then he's like, "Then you know what? You're gonna sell drugs right next to me. We're gonna be side by side. Whatever happens to you is gonna happen to me, and I'm gonna be there to protect you, man. And you're gonna be there to protect me. So we're gonna be in the same favela, the same thing." and that's it. So then I went to my brother's favela. That was like next to it by the same owner, and um, and that was one thing that almost got me killed, man. Because the kid that stole the bike here in the favela, we have this rule: if you steal anything, you don't bring it to the favela. And the kids brought the motorcycle, so they're like, the boss of the favela, he was like, I don't give a fuck. Kill everybody that's involved. Kill everybody. I don't care. And then my brother got crazy. He's like, are you crazy? You're not gonna kill my brother. He's not wrong. He didn't do anything. He was selling drugs for you. And the other kids stole the motorcycle. So you guys got to do something to the kids that stole the motorcycle. You guys say that you're right, then you got to be right now. And then they're like, oh yeah. So let's think about that. All right, that's
So
true.
hold
Your
on, hold on.
brother,
Your brother's got some say? Your brother's like,
yeah,
or did have some say. Fuck.
did
Okay.
have some say. Yeah, he honestly, like even today, man, I'm out of the crime, everything. I don't do anything bad. I'm focused on my life, working, playing football, everything. But the bosses, man, they treat me very good. They're like, anytime you need anything, you just let me know. If you need money, if you need help, if you want to come back to this life, if you need a gun, if you need to kill anybody, if you need to steal, whatever you need that I can do for you, you let me know. But I don't want nothing from them, obviously, because now I'm living a better life.
And if
I
you take something, more than likely you have to get back. No,
Yeah, I think so.
but they
But
respect you, and it's not
but
like
there's
like the
yeah,
mafia, like the American mafia, which I studied a little bit. Is like once you're in the life, you're in it for life. Like you don't get to just get out. Like it
yeah,
doesn't come with that. Even gang banging, like nowadays in USA, it's just like nobody forgets. You can't just say, "Oh, today I'm not a gangster no more." But no, the person that you killed, their family member still wants you. Like it never leaves you. But
never
so,
leaves you.
so but okay, keep going. So, anyways,
So like me, man, I everybody knows what I've done in my life here in the favela, here nearby. So like everybody respects me, but everybody knows that I'm not what I used to be. And that's rare, man. That I know in this place of people that joined gangbanging and got out and are working and are having a good life today, man. It's like 5%. And 100%, 5 people do that. And me and my brother, thankfully, we were one. Our man, the kid that was our best friend, he died, man. He died, and the people asked us to kill him, and we didn't kill him. We're like, no, man, you can't ask me to kill that guy. I'm not gonna kill him. He's my friend, man. I'm not gonna kill him. The guy's like, you're not gonna kill him? Then we'll kill him. Chill. So like, man, we you have to. It's like I've seen brothers kill brothers, man. People that don't have heart, man, they kill brothers. Now me and my brother, we've always had a good heart, man. We know that family is first, man. So like even my brother, the first, like I said, the first day that I joined the crime with my brother, he said, we're gonna be side by side. Whatever happens to you happens to me."
yeah. So let's get to that point. So like, boom, you got out of jail because you're selling before. Then you saw him in jail, and then you started going at it together, right? Let's start.
Yeah,
Let's hit from that angle.
and
So
then
you
that,
started dealing dope with him
yeah,
at this point.
that's when everything started like getting not better. It got worse, obviously, because it's a worse situation, but it got better financially for me and it got better emotionally for me too because I was with my brother. We were happy and everything and we were making our money. We finally got to do what we wanted to do. Like I honestly joined crime because of those things that happened that I got separated from the people. They didn't treat me right. They were not giving me the value that I had. They didn't have any patience with me. But I also wanted what? I wanted to get myself a life. I didn't want to like depend on my mom and dad for nothing because they were already having a hard life. They had to come back from the United States. My dad, man, he hates Brazil. He does not want to stay here. He wants to get out of here because he knows that here you can't build your family to have a good condition unless you were born rich. And my dad was not born rich. He was born in the countryside. He left my dad's house. He left my grandparents' house because he needed to work because inside of his house it was 11 kids and two parents that didn't even have money to raise the 11 kids. So he had to get out as fast as possible to come to Belo Horizonte to work and get money. And like,
Let me hit on that
man,
point because I always bash like the victim mindset. We can talk about it later on, but I will say in Brazil, man, like even if you do all the right things and you work super hard, there usually is like a hamper on where you can go. And a lot of people that do all the right things are only just surviving off that. Like, because in the USA, it says it all the time. Oh, it's not fair, and I was born this way. But I always say, okay, USA, like you were given a lottery ticket at life. Like you can actually make something out of yourself. You can save, you can build,
Yeah,
pass on to the next generation. But I still think every Brazilian can get out, just like you, like you're doing right now.
yeah,
But it is no fucking joke in Brazil how like capped. I'd say 80% of the people are. Know what I mean? Even like
that's
the average people, like the middle class, like they're surviving. They're paying in installments for groceries. Know what I mean? Like it's very different in Brazil compared to many other places I've been in that aspect. But anyways,
yeah, that's true, man.
okay, so
But
hold on.
yes,
Now you're balling, right? Like you and your brother got the dope game, on lock. You have your own apartment. All the girls, the favela girls,
yeah.
like you're like, what's so you're living the high life, okay? But you're in and out of jail though. You said you went 6 times in that period, no?
Yeah, because I went to the times that I went to jail, it was like, to me, honestly, the reason why many people stay in the crime is because it's like, it's not bad, man. You go to jail, what would we think as a minor? We would think, this is just a little rest for me to stay without using drugs, and for me to sleep well, and for me to just rest a little bit, to get away from the world. And then I'll be back in a couple of days. Like, the most time that I've been in jail, like, without going home, was 45 days. That was a month and a half as a minor. But as soon as that was done, I had to stay 6 months. No, that's right, because I stayed a month and a half, and then I got out. And that was like the worst time, because I stayed in jail my mom's birthday. I stayed in jail Christmas. I stayed in jail New Year's. And I got out in, like, I think I got out on January 3rd. Yeah. And I went to jail in, like, November. But that was like the worst time, that I think, because my mom, she passed her birthday without any of her sons, because my middle brother was in adult jail already, because he went to jail after 18 3 times. And now he's in jail right now, my brother. So, like, man, it's still hard, man. I still miss my brother, because I don't have my dad. He's working where he used to live, like, all the way in another city, not Belo Horizonte. So he's not even living with me. And it's just me and my mom right now. And my brother, he's in jail. My other brother is in the United States. I don't have nobody to talk to. So, like, what I use is my football teammates. They are my brothers now. When I, like, Kyle, Kyle, me and him, man, he comes to my house. We play video games. We go to the field to play football. He's like my brother, man. So it's still hard. I'm still having a hard time, but now I'm better, because I have another mindset, and I know that what I am going to do is I'm going to turn the game around. I'm going to make my family happy. I'm going to bring a better life to my mom, to my brother when he gets out. I'm going to be here to support him so he can't go back to that life. But
Hold on,
yeah,
hold on,
man.
hold on. We're skipping ahead a little bit, but great.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep going. This is good. You have great stories. You're speaking amazing. Well, I was gonna ask you. Okay, what is? I've heard Brazilian real prison is terrible. Like it's just a shit fest. But what was the juvie like? Tell me like what's going on in there. Is it clean? Do you get fed decent? Is it fighting? What kind of experience is
Man,
that?
honestly, it's basically, I would say, almost the same thing as adult, but there's a difference. In the adult jail, inside of a cell, we have more than 30 guys, and we have 11 places to sleep, like 11 rock beds. We have 11 rock beds,
This is
30
normal
guys.
for every jail. Normal for every prison.
Yeah, 30 guys is normal, but sometimes we have 50 guys in one cell. And it's like crazy, man. People sleep like this, standing up, like on the wall. They sleep standing up, man, with their hands like this. If you move your hands, like, if you put your hands here, you lose your space right here, so you have to sleep like this. It's really bad, man.
Shut
Adult
up.
jail. Yeah, man. I'm telling the truth. It's fucked up. It's really bad. It's not a joke. When you see how it is inside, the rats, the smell, and their adult jail, you get inside the jail. We have the favela bosses, we have the drug dealers, we have the watchers, we have the crackheads, everybody in the same room. Nobody is more than nobody. Everybody is the same thing inside of the jail. But here, the jail is even worse than the world, because like outside of the jail, because there they have drugs, they sell drugs. We use us. They have phones inside the jails. My brother, he stays talking to girls inside the jail. You know how it is. And but the food in adult jail is terrible. It's terrible, terrible, terrible. And in juvie, like you can say juvie, like the minor jail, it's only like we have 6 beds, 6 rock beds. No, six, no, four rock beds, and usually it's like in the maximum it's 8 guys, and the maximum that I've had inside of a cell with me was 8 guys. So it's like 4 guys sleeping on the floor, but it's on the floor is all right if you think about it, because in the adult jail people sleep standing up. They sleep on the in front of the bathroom. Some people sleep inside of the bathroom inside the cell, man. It's really full of people. So juvie, it's better. There's less people. It's the same idea, the same place, the same thing. The agents that we call the prisonal officers, the agents. Here we call them agents for juvie. So they treat you better than the people from the adult jail, because in the adult jail we have the normal prisonal officers, but we also have the JIT. They're called the JIT. They have like ninja masks. They come in with helmets and all black. They just go in to beat the fuck out of everybody inside the jail. They don't even
Just
care.
randomly. Just
Yeah,
randomly.
just randomly to like they're gonna do a checkup on the whole thing. But they find a lot of things. They find drugs. They find phones. That's like it's it's obvious that they're gonna find it, because in the Brazil jail we have phones and everything. But then in the juvie they don't do that. Like they don't have that shit. They have only the agents, and they're only gonna beat you in the juvie if you do really bad things. Like if you want to fight with them and everything, then they'll beat you. But if you fight with someone else in there, they don't beat you. They let you guys fight, and then they separate you, bring one to the. Then they decide. Like for example, I'm in juvie right now. Me and this kid fight inside of our cell, and then everybody's gonna decide what's gonna happen. So like everybody decides. We start kicking the doors, blah 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 blah. It makes a lot of noise, and then the agents come in, and they're like, "All right, what's gonna happen?" Because we have this place. It's called the security, but that's like seguro. We call that security. That's where the people that are like rapists, that are rats, that are snitches, they go to those places.
High
So
security. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So then 2 people fight. One is wrong and one is right. You can know that for a fact, that there's always a right person and the wrong person. So we decide that the people inside the cell, they say what happened and everything. And then we decide. And then all of a sudden, when we decide, we start kicking the doors again. Blah, 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 blah. And then the agents come in. They're like, who's going to go? And then they go and get the kid that was wrong and bring him to the security. So he stays
He
like
stays with the
wrong.
rapists and the pedophiles and shit.
Yeah, he stays with the wrong guys. So like, but
But
in
this is
juvie,
juvie.
it's not always just
Right?
rapists and pedophiles
Yeah.
and those things. It's wrong people, people that do anything wrong. So for example, I get pissed off at this guy because he stole my, we can say my cookies, because the parents, they bring things for you at the jail. So they bring cookies, they bring some types of things, some shampoo, those things. So you have your own thing separated, and the kid goes and steals your thing. That's the same, man. You steal a little candy and you steal a bank. It's the same thing, man. You're stealing. So they bring that same idea. You're being wrong. You're stealing. You need to die. You're gonna be in here. You're gonna steal from a person that's next to you, that's living with you. Are you crazy? Then you fight. The person that stole is gonna go there. So it's pretty bad. Now in adult jail, it's more serious, that security thing. You can fight, you can be wrong, you can be right. It's okay. You're only going to the security if you are a rapist, if you stole like from a boss of the favela, if you're a robber, like you steal from your own boss in the favela. That gets in the jail. Everybody knows what you do. So then you go to those places, and yeah, man, it's pretty fucked up. But it was all right. Like I said, the food in juvie, it's amazing. It's very good. It's very good food. We would get breakfast in the morning, and then we'd get lunch, and then we get like another coffee break, we could say that, another food, and then we get dinner, and then we would have a late night lunch that was like chocolate milk with the bread. So it would be like 5 meals a day in jail for juvie. And you just and they put a lot of things, man. I don't even know what it is, but they put a lot of things in the food so you can get fat and big. So like you get inside juvie all skinny and everything from using all those drugs and everything, and you get out fat and big because you ate and you got your. So that's how I would say it was like kind of like a rest because you get all the food back in your body. It's sometimes people that are selling drugs, they don't even eat, man, because there are some kids that are very I can say weak minded. They can't think straight. They sell drugs to use drugs. So instead of getting the money, because we do this, you have a for you to sell drug, you have 12 um let's say 12 cocaine pins. Here we call them pins. You have 12. 10 is the boss's and 2 is yours. Those two, you can decide what you do if you're going to use it or you're going to sell it. If you sell it, you get the money. If you don't, then you use it. And a lot of people use it, man. I've seen a lot of kids, they would be really crazy, man, really crazy of cocaine. And like during the like
One question.
in
One
the,
question. How
yeah.
pure is the cocaine? Are they chopping it up, or is it coming straight from Colombia?
No, it's
How
not pure,
pure?
man. It's
Yeah, they're
not pure.
chopping a ton of different
Yeah.
shit, right?
They're mixing up some things. I've personally I've made the pins, I've filled them up, and I saw them mixing a bunch of shit, man, to the cocaine. So it's not pure.
Keep going. My
Mm.
bad. So two, you can sell two. You're about to say something.
What was I gonna say? It was about
12 pins and 10 of them. The boss, all the money goes to him, and you get two for yourself.
yeah, and then you get to choose
Some
if you're
kids were
gonna sell
cracked
it.
out, some addicted, didn't eat.
Yeah. So like there are a lot of people, man, that they don't even like get the money. They just use drugs. So like me personally, I would get only the money, man. I would get the money, get the money, get the money. So like you see, I would waste my money with what? A lot of girls. That was the main thing I would waste with is girls, man. I would pay them a bunch of things. I would call a bunch of girls to my house and everything. That's how I was living my life. That's how I was like thinking because I wanted to show the people that like you see what I'm doing. I got out of the favela and I'm gonna stay with the best girls. I'm gonna stay with the most beautiful girls. I'm gonna have the most money. I'm gonna live by myself. And that woman, I remember it until today, man. That woman at school was telling me that I'm not gonna be anything because I don't know how to speak Portuguese. Are you crazy? Look at how I am. I'm 16 years old and I'm living by myself. I'm having a bunch of girls and I'm making more than 1,000 reals per day. It was pretty crazy, man. I was having my mind. I was lost, honestly. But
Hey, tell me, I got one question about the girls. Were they favela girls? Were they like, actual like college girls, rich girls, or what?
and there's girls from everywhere, man. There are girls from
Oh,
the
you were
hotel,
pimping.
dude.
You
It
were
was
pimping.
like, man, honestly, after midnight, I wouldn't care. Like I would get she just couldn't be ugly, man. But I wouldn't care. I'd call any girl after midnight, and during the day, I would call like the more beautiful girls that everybody could see, that the people that live next to me could see. They would be like, wow, look at Tiago, look at the girl that he's with. She's very beautiful. It was
Um,
pretty crazy.
so this is a big talking point with the rappers that were like King Von. King Von's a fascinating case study. I've been following Chiracology on Reddit for a long time. It goes deep into
Hmm.
like Southside gang politics. It's a fascinating subreddit people should check out. I first got into this shit because I went to junior college with a bunch of dudes
Hmm.
from South Chicago, Southside
Yeah.
Chicago, and that's where Chief Keef came up, like L.A. Capone, Little Durk, King Von, and this was like right a couple years after Chief is like on the mainstream, right? When King Von is locked up, Dirk isn't that famous yet. So I learned a lot from dudes that grew up with him, right? And it's freaking fascinating. It's a total war zone, total like dudes living for the now. Like he killed my dad. This guy killed my brother. I mean, it's insane, right? And a lot of them talk about uh, the traumatic stuff, right? And I'm curious, like when you're living that life, are you realizing how fucked up it is, or it just becomes normal? And then how do you adapt, like after, like when you're always kind of looking, getting shot at by police, dealing with drugs. How does you adjust to normal life? Because a lot of people never can after that.
No, yeah, I understand. Man, to like when you're doing that thing, man, when you're in the life, it seems normal. You get used to it. You know what I mean? Like there are lots of kids here in Brazil, man, that I one of the reasons why I want to get a better life is to come and help them, show them that they can. Because they don't see that they can, man. The only thing that they see that they can do is sell drugs. That's the only thing that they've known how to do ever since they grew up. So like the first job of a kid is selling drugs, is watching the police. So what do they learn? They learn that that's normal. That's the life that they have. That's the only option that they have. So like me, I want to give them a I want to show them that they can get out. Like me, I'm honestly not because it's me, but a lot of my friends here, they saw how big I got in the crime and the thug life. They saw that I was, man, when I stopped crime, I wasn't even selling drugs anymore. I was already like the manager of the place, of the drug dealing place. So I wouldn't even sell drugs anymore. I would just like take care of everything and maintain everything organized. I wasn't even
And how
selling drugs.
old? What age were you?
I was 17.
So like, you were reporting right to the boss.
Yeah, right to the boss. Everything that any problems that everybody would have in the favela, they would come to me. Like this guy, one day he was beating the woman, he was beating his son so much, and his son was like, "I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna kill you," and everything. I was like, "Man, you can't do that, man. Your dad is beating on you for some reason, but the thing is that your mom doesn't accept that he's beating on you. So what are we gonna do to resolve this, to solve this problem? We're gonna do this. You, the father of this kid, that you don't live here anymore. You come here to get with his mom, and you don't live here anymore. You know that you can't be here. So the first thing that I'm going to ask you to do is to not step inside this house. You are not going to come back inside of this favela. If you come back inside of this favela, I don't care what you are, who you are. I'm going to shoot. I'm going to empty out this gun in your face. I'm going to shoot you 30 times in your face, and you're not going to step in here anymore.
You said this?
Because yeah, and then the woman was like, I'm gonna call the cops because he keeps on coming, and I'm telling him not to come. And I'm like, man, can't you listen? The woman doesn't want you to come here. You're the kid's father. You used to live here and everything, but you can't come in her house and beat her son. It's your son too, but you can't come in her house and beat her son in front of her like that, and she doesn't want you to be here. You have another woman. You get out of here, man. You can't come in here just to cause problems. She's gonna want to call the cops. That's the main reason, because she was like, I'm going to call the cops, Tiago, if this guy doesn't leave my house. And I'm like, he's going to leave your house right now. You can be sure for that. And I got up there and I just told him to get out of the house, and then he got out. And today, that guy, man, he sees me. He's like, hey, Tiago, oh my God, you're such a good guy. I know how you are. I told him the truth, man. And everybody respects me because I look at both sides. I see what side is going to be like that needs the most. You understand? Like I know that the guy wanted to be with his family and everything, but he's not with her anymore. So he can't be, man. He decided to get another woman, so he has to have that other woman and accept that. And like
Hold
it
on.
was
Is this the
crazy.
favela you stay in right now? You're still that one.
No, no. Now I live in the favela that I used to live
Okay. So
with my
you
mom.
were mediating problems in the other favela, correct?
Yeah, the favela that I
You're,
was selling.
you're trying to tell me a 17-year-old kid is mediating grown people's problems? I mean, this was 3 years ago. You were doing
Uh-huh.
that.
Yeah. Not
This is
just
why I'm looking shocked. I should have done a better little intro at the start, but we were playing ball together in Belo Horizonte, and obviously the tattoos. I'm like, okay, something was fucking funky here. But other than that, you're a very like genuine, nice kid. Like you would never,
always smiling.
yeah, you would never expect this kind of shit. You know what I mean? And obviously you spoke English, and we bonded right away, and you were helping me out and so forth. But I'm not saying I don't believe you, but it's like
Yeah, it's
fuck, this
surprising,
is a
man,
crazy
honestly.
story.
Like, and I don't think anybody on the team knows like about my life, the full life. Only a little bit of guys, man. But like not everybody knows what I've been through, everything that I've been through. So like not everybody knows who I am, to like, because what you have to do, what I learned for me to get out of that life of the crime, I have to leave those things behind, man. I don't even like to remember those things. Honestly, the things that I do, like there's a lot of things that I like, that we're doing this live and everything. I can't say some things. There are some things that I can't say, But like I everything that I do, man, I remember what I used to be, what I have done, and who I am today. I'm just so happy, man, honestly, of who I am today, because a couple years ago I wouldn't care, man. Like I said, I was from the favela. I saw that I had nothing to lose, so I was just living my life like one day at a time. I didn't even care about my future.
Well, that is the interesting part, though, because I wrote this down. Is you
Mhm.
did know better though, because you said you had a good life in the USA, right? And
Yeah,
then you didn't have you weren't like a lot of these favela kids that just see the Watcher and they're gonna do that for the rest of their life. You actually saw
exactly.
bigger things, right? And so you
Yeah,
go back, you
I
go
would.
back to Brazil. Hold on. You go back to Brazil with that mindset, but then it sounds like you got fucked up in the school, with stumbling with the words, and then you wanted to overcompensate with power and women, and like, oh, what do you mean I'll never be nothing? You found the easiest shortcut through the dope dealing. But it's weird to me because you knew better then.
That's true. That's true. And every day, man, I was in the crime. I would see everything. I would remember everything, man. I would remember my friends in the United States. I would remember my life in the United States. I would remember my mom, my dad happy with me, hugging me. Every day I would remember. I knew that I had something to fight for. I would think that I had nothing to lose, but in deep, deep down, I knew that I had a lot of things to lose. And I knew that I had a lot of things to do still, because I was young. I was what, 17, 16, 15. I knew that I had a lot of things to do, but I was kind of blind. I don't know how it is. I believe in God and everything. So I was thinking that like the devil, he was blinding me, man. I wasn't seeing what I was doing. I wasn't seeing the future that I had, because like I just had that, man, in my mindset. I just had that. I would think I'm going to be a criminal for the rest of my life. I'm not going to get out of this life. I'm only going to get out of this favela if I die for this favela or if I'm in jail. Those are the only two times that I'm not going to be in here, because I'm going to be in here for the rest of my life. But one day, man, I didn't have a choice, man. God got me, and he like took out the blindness that I had. He's like, look at your future, man. Look at what you have. Look at what you can do. The first thing that you need to do is just stop throwing your time away. Stop being in crime. Start doing something. Start doing something. And then what did I do? I was paying 6 months of this jail time, that it was like you would go home on the weekends and stay in jail during the
Hold on.
week.
Before we get to your conclusion of getting out of the life, I
Mm-hmm.
think did you have that invincibility teenager feeling too? Because I remember, obviously not on this scale, but doing a lot of dumb shit as a teenager and thinking like consequences don't apply and like whatever. Like your empathy is not as developed. Like you don't see really necessarily into the future. Is that kind of how you were thinking though too, living this life?
Yeah,
Like I could become the boss of the favela and maybe I could be the lucky one that got out of it. No,
exactly, man.
or
That was
not go
like,
to jail or die. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. That was my mindset. I wanted to get higher and higher and higher. Like the way I began, man, selling, like when I began selling drugs at that favela, I didn't have to be a watcher, because my brother was already like somebody. He was already somebody in that organization. So he's like, you don't need to be a watcher, man. You can already still start selling. So you're gonna start selling. And not just because the first day that I sold drugs in my brother's Favela, my brother was in jail, so he didn't even know that I was gonna start. I got up to like the kids that were next to him there that sold with him, and I was like, "Hey man, I want to sell drugs, man. And I'm Telson's brother, and let's go, man. Let me in the favela. I want to start. I want to start with you guys, and I want to continue. You know that I'm gonna be good." And then I started. So like it was pretty crazy, man. It was pretty crazy, that those things.
So okay, now let's get to the conclusion. So you lead me up to when the blinders got taken off, and you said God spoke to you.
Yeah. So I just continued living my life, selling drugs and everything, doing all that I had to do, maintaining my word, because one thing that we really look here in Brazil is the person's word. If you are a guy that says what you're gonna do and you do it, then you're a man. If you don't do what you said you were gonna do, you're not a man. You don't have any words. We say here too that words don't make curves. So they don't go there and there and there. No, words go direct. They're one idea. If you were a guy with two ideas, like, oh, I'm good, but I'm not good. No, you can't do that. You have to have one idea only. Like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. No, you're gonna do this or that. You can't do the two things at the same time. You know what I mean? So like you have here we use that we have to have a maintain. You have to maintain your word, and that's something
I
that
don't
I
think many
did.
people follow that in Brazil. And
Yeah,
it starts with being on fucking time. They say they're gonna be somewhere at 8 o'clock. Don't show up at 9:30. I hate that. But anyways,
that's that's true, man. It's fucked up, but like in crime, man, and the thug life, you have to be very straight with your words. You have to be right, man. Even
well,
in the
because
wrong life,
people die. People die or go to jail with the wrong words. Or they don't do what they say they're gonna do. You know.
exactly. And if you don't do what you said you were gonna do, you die too. Like if I tell my boss that I'm this and I show differently, he's not gonna trust me anymore. He may even want to kill me because they don't have nothing to lose. Like I said, those guys that I'm blessed because I had the opportunity to go to the United States and get to know my family and get to know that you can be somebody. Like just it just depends on you. But the other people here, a lot of people here in Brazil, they don't see that. They just think it's normal. It's what they have. It's what they live for. My dad was the boss of the favela. I'm gonna be the boss of the favela. My son is gonna be the boss of the favela. Everybody is gonna be in the favela selling in the same thing. So man, it's like it's pretty fucked up. But that's what I saw, and there were kids, man, little kids that would see me. They're like, "Hey, Tiago, I want to be like you when I grow up." And I'm like, "Oh my God, you don't know what you're saying, man." Because I knew the life that I was living, that it was hard. Every day running from the cops. The cops got me arrested 6 times, but they've put me on their hands more than 20 times, and they would get me. I've promised cops guns. I said, "No, I'm going to go get the gun for you right now." And then they're like, "All right, I'm going to wait here." And I'm like, "All right." And I would go get the gun and I would never show up again to where he was. I would just show up at the favela again, obviously, because I had my job. So the guy
Hey,
was,
hold on. Do you ever worry about those same cops seeing you again living civilian life?
nah, man, I don't worry about it. Because I don't think they would remember me, honestly, because I changed a lot. There's so many people, man, that look at me, they're like, "Wow, I don't believe that you're that Tiago that was there in the favela that day. You do not look like that. You look way better. You're beautiful."
Like
Honestly, that's
just
what
the
people say.
vibe
They
or your appearance? Like what changed? The vibe? Or do you
Everything, man. They say the vibe and the appearance. Like principally the appearance, because like you can see, man. I would have to stay up 24 hours. Like I said, I would make 1,000 reels. On the bad days, there were days that I would make 2,000 reels, man. Like on a Saturday, damn, it would sell so much drugs that I would stay crazy. I would stay with like this big of money on my hands in the morning so I could give to the boss. Like this much. Even more. Sometimes it would, like 2 stacks of this. It was a lot of money, man. We were one of the favelas that made most money here in Belo Horizonte, and it's a big city. And so and then in that case, I would stay 24 hours awake because it was 24 hours and 30 and 48 off. So it was like I would work one day from 7 a.m. and get out only 7 a.m. on the other day. But I would what? I would have time to lunch. I would go to my house, take a shower at night, and come back and stay the rest of the night. And I would have 2 days off. But the day that I got out, 7 a.m., I would sleep the whole day. And then at the other day, I would go back to the favela and joke a little bit, drink, smoke, do those things. And then I would go back home and 7 a.m. I would be there. So I lost a lot of sleep in my life. And that sleep, you know how sleep, man, it makes your appearance change like 100%. Nowadays, I sleep. Back then, I wouldn't even sleep practically.
um
So
well, hold on. Before you say the come to Jesus moment, just tell me quick, what can you all buy from the favela? Anything? Obviously guns, drugs, prostitutes. They don't prostitute much in the favela, do they?
no, no, no.
What
Prostitutes
else
is
can you
more like
buy?
downtown.
Can you get it? What else can you buy? Like, say something
You,
clickbaity. I don't know.
you can buy cars, man. Cars, motorcycles. They sell very cheap. Like obviously they're stolen and everything, but they have some right cars too. Like the owners of the favela, they get a lot of money. They open some things for them. They're not dumb, man. They're smart guys. Like my bosses. If you look at them, man, no joke, they look like you. Some of them, they look like you.
Gringos?
Yeah, yeah, man. They use very good clothes. They don't use like favela clothes and everything. They use only decent clothes, glasses, shoes, everything to make them look like a rich, normal person. So like you look at the person, you don't expect that he's the boss of the favela, but then you go and crash on his car and you say, "Yeah, you motherfucker, son of a bitch." He kills you right now, right there at that moment. He doesn't care. They don't care, man. They would get in the favela. They would come in shooting at the sky. Pow, 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 pow. You guys think that this place doesn't have an owner? I'm an owner. Go snitch on me now. Tell the cops to come here now. Tell them to come down here when I'm here. They don't come down here when I'm here because if they come down when I'm here, they're gonna see what's gonna happen. They would do that, man. They're crazy. But you look at the guy and you're like, oh my god, he's a good person. He looks so good. He's not bad. And
Question.
then, yeah.
Oh, my bad. Can they take any girl they want in the favela? Like if they say, "Hey, you're cute, you're with me now," or
No,
there's
not take. Not take.
okay,
They don't take like that. But the girls,
they
they
want.
want they want him because he has a lot of money. He has a big house. He has all the respect in the world. So like in the place. So like any girl's dream is to be with the boss of the
So,
favela.
so they're not like a. I mean, maybe some are like just crazy dictators, but for the most part,
No, man, no.
they're just like the king that's keeping everything in place. And no,
They're
but some of them, it sounded like are just psychopaths. I mean,
Yeah, and they're good people, man. Honestly, they're some days they would give me money. They'd be like, "Hey, man, take this. You're being a good person for us. You're helping us a lot. Take this. You want to take some days off? You can take some days off." They would call us, man. The owners of the favela. They go, "Let's get everybody together. We're gonna go rent a place and we're gonna stay there for the week. And everybody, there's a pool. We're gonna make barbecues. Everything is on us. Whiskey, everything. You guys don't need to buy anything." And we would do a bunch of things, man, for the kids in the favela. Every holiday, we were the ones that would buy everything. We would buy um like pools, we would buy food, we would buy Easter eggs for all the kids in the favela. Man, it's a beautiful thing, man. The project that they do. We would buy like toys, man, toys for everybody. We would buy shoes for everybody, clothes for everybody. The little kids would come to me, "Hey, Tiago, Tiago," and I was like, "Take money, 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 take
Santa
it."
Claus.
Yeah, and they would go buy their things. They'd be so happy. Like even in the bad crime things, there are some things good, man. There are good people.
It reminds me just I've seen a lot of southern Italy and Sicily, and it reminds me of
Mhm.
the mafioso. I mean, totally to it. Maybe a little more organized and a little more fancier, but it's the same shit everywhere with the kind of the government neglected people. No one really cares. So then someone's going to take power, and if they can give some sort of security and be somewhat friendly, then that's just it's not much different than the government. For God's sakes, I always say
That's true. That's true.
the government is mafia with flags. That's my whole thing. But
Hmm.
interesting. Okay, come to Jesus. We need to have a happy ending with this because I
Yeah,
don't want
yeah,
to thinking you're
that's
some
true.
psychomaniac from Brazil. So lead me like the last couple of weeks to the ending of the crime life into what happened. Your
Got it.
your revelation.
So the first thing I'm gonna tell you is the last time that I went to jail. So it was like this. I was, like I said, I was the manager of the place. I didn't have to do anything. I was inside of this girl's house that I would get. And me at her house, all of a sudden, the guys send me a message. The owners, the bosses, they were like, "Hey man, get everybody out of the favela because the cops are watching you guys, and you guys just have to hide everything and get out." And I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna tell the kids to get out, and we're gonna stay chill. Thank you for telling us." And then I went and told the two people that were selling drugs for me. I was like, "Hey, hide the things and get out, man. Get out of the don't stay in the street. Don't stay selling. If you guys want to come inside the house with me, you can stay inside the house, but you can't be with anything. You got to be with nothing." And they're like, "All right." So then they hid their things, and everybody went. We went inside the house of this girl that I would get, and all of a sudden we just heard the cars coming down, because it was like a bunch of apartments. Like I said, this place, it wasn't exactly like a favela. because they destroyed the favela and made all these apartments for everybody. And it was public, so it was an open place, and that's how it was. There was just one entrance, and there would be the parking space and all the apartments around. And we would stay in the middle of those apartments, and then we'd run to the woods, we'd run to the backside, we'd run inside the school and everything. There was schools next to it, so and then all of a sudden I heard the cars, and they came in. The dogs would bark, so they barked, and all of a sudden somebody knocks on the door. Boop, boop, boop. And I'm like, oh shit, who's knocking on the door? And then the guy goes to open the door. This guy that lived there, he's like, who is it? And then the cop said it with such a little low voice, man. I remember as if it was yesterday, with like a girl voice. He was like, it's the police. And then the guy was like, really? It's the police? And he opened the door. As soon as he opened the door, man, the cop didn't even care. He just got him by his chest and he pulled him outside. He's like, come out here now. And then he pulled the guy that opened the door and closed the door. And then all of a sudden, the guy came back, the guy and the cop. And they just went inside the house. I was laying down on the couch with the little kid on my lap. He opened the door. He was like, you get out, get up. And I'm like, what? What do you want with me? I'm laying down here watching TV. And he's like, get out of that house right now, man, and come outside. And I got up and then I went out, and he already said, this is the deal, man. I know that you were selling drugs here and everything, and I'm gonna bring you guys to jail. It's you. Just tell me where the drugs are. And I'm like, first of all, I'm not selling drugs. I was here at my girlfriend's house. I'm just chilling inside her house. I'm not selling drugs. Are you seeing me with any drugs, with any money right here? No, I'm not selling drugs. And he's like, man, shut up. We're watching you guys since morning. We're seeing everything that you guys are doing. You guys are selling drugs. You and those two people that are inside the house with you. And I'm like, then you're seeing things, because I'm not selling drugs. I can tell you that for a fact. I'm here at my girlfriend's house and I'm not selling drugs. I didn't touch drugs any day today. And then he's like, no, you are selling drugs. So you think that I'm stupid? And then he stayed with us. He stayed talking a bunch of shit. And then it came 3 cop cars. It was 2 that were from the Shock. I don't know if you've seen the Shock. They're the like one of the worst cops here in Brazil. Shock. They're a
This is what I
brown.
was talking about, the one that was rolling through my Airbnb that goes to the favela, right?
Yeah.
They're like they look angry and they're in like tough
Yeah.
cars.
A brown car.
Yeah. That guy. Yeah,
That's it. Yeah. So yeah, the 2 Shocks, and there was
those things can just kill you if they want, right? They got
yeah,
no
they kill,
respect.
man. They don't even care. They don't think twice. And then another cop car that was the Hawka. They're called the Hawka. They have the dogs. They come with the dogs. So they find everything, man. There's nothing stays hidden from them. And my drugs, man, I got the drugs and I put it all the way on the other side of that stream that I told you that they have. So so I put it in the middle of the woods, and the dog found it, man. The dog went around the woods, went on the avenue, and went down inside the woods. He didn't cross the stream. He went around and got the drugs, and then he found the drugs. And then the cop was just like, "We already found the drugs. We found all the drugs that you had, and we're gonna bring you guys to jail. I just want you guys to tell me that you are. Just tell me the truth. Why are you gonna lie?" And I'm like, "I'm not selling drugs. I'm not. I'm at my girlfriend's house." And I denied it ever all the way to the police station. Then when we got at the police station, I was like, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna tell you the truth. These 2 people that you got, they were only watching for me. I was the only one that was selling because they were older than 18. So I was doing what? I was trying to free them and keep just me. I was way higher in the rank, but I was under 18. I knew that I wasn't gonna stay as much as them, and I tried to free them. I was like, look at that's why people, I don't know, they love me too, because I'm like, I see the best for everybody. I don't care if it's gonna affect me, but if it's gonna be better for everybody, that's what I choose. So then I told them, you know what? It's all mine. I was selling, they were only watching. And if you want to know that I'm telling you the truth, you don't need to count how much drugs there are there. I'm going to tell you exactly the amount. But if you want to count just so you can be sure what I'm telling you, you do it. There's this, and that. And he's like, all right.
How much was
And
it?
this,
I'm curious.
man, I don't remember exactly, but it was a lot of drugs, because like I said, I was the manager, so they didn't get the drugs with the kids that were selling. They got the drugs with me. It was all the drugs that we had. It was like a big bag like
Yeah,
this of
so
drugs.
give me an average. Like
Cocaine,
at this point, yeah, like how much daily were you pushing?
man, it was like Damn, we would sell a lot of drugs, man. It would be more than 30,000 reels of drugs every day. So like at that moment, I probably had like a value of like 10,000 reels of drugs with me.
Okay, so yeah, 30,000 reais is 6 grand in dollars for everyone listening. How much does a gram of cocaine go for in Brazil? Just for people to kind of understand, like how much.
It's like, man, the pins that we would sell, it would be like 0.8. It wouldn't be 1 gram, but it would be 20 reels. So
Yeah, so I mean, you're talking fuck four
like a
five
hundred, a hundred
four
bucks.
$4 $5 grams of cocaine in Brazil. And like, if everyone know in the States, I'm not saying I'm a drug guy, but you're paying like fucking $100 grams, you know what I mean? And you're
Damn.
paying what, $5 grams here.
Yeah.
You said 20 Rias for point 0.8 divided by 5, $4. $4,
$4.
$5
Yeah.
for a gram, basically.
Yeah.
So listen to that though. So a gram he's selling for $5, and he was selling $6,000 worth of or drugs on him, right? You said daily.
Yeah.
You said pushing, but you got caught with 10,000 reais, which is two
Yeah.
grand.
Like
Okay.
10,000.
I don't want to do the math right now. Someone will do the math in the comment section, but that's not no wimpy weight right there. That's a lot of.
Yeah. It's a lot of drugs, man. It would be a heavy bag, man, and big. It was like this big and really heavy. But like so then he got everything, he counted and it was right. He's like, "Wow. That's true, man. There's that much." Because I knew how much drugs there were because they were all closed. None were open because they were all hidden for me to get the money with the kids that finished selling them, and I would get the money with them and give them more. So I had all the drugs with me. They were all on my responsibility on the other side of the thing. So then and then I even asked for the cop. You should see how they are killers and everything, but they are the most thugs, man, honestly. It's like two thugs, man. One thug is the crime and one thug is the cops. Because look, I told him, I'm like, damn, I'm gonna go to juvie. I'm gonna stay there a long time. It's already my sixth time going. You know what, man? You should please help me. Give me like at least 2 grams or a gram of weed so I can bring inside, so I can smoke inside when I'm there at the jail and everything. He's like, really, man? You can do that? And I'm like, yeah, if you give it to me, I'll swallow it. And when I get to the jail, I'm going to poop it out and I'll open it up and I'll smoke the weed inside the jail. It's chill. We do that. And then he's like, really? All right. So in a little bit, I was talking to the sergeant. He was like, in a little bit, you, what's it called? You call me and ask to go to the bathroom. I'm gonna get the bag and I'm gonna bring the bag to the bathroom and I'll give you some weed inside the bathroom. And I'm like, all right. I waited a little bit. That was because I told him, like I told him exactly what was happening. I was like, I'm the guy that was selling, and them two, you don't need to count. You can. I'm gonna tell you how much, and then he counted. It was right. He got like happy. He's like, damn, this kid is telling the truth. So it is him. And then he accepted that. And I called him, I asked him to go to the bathroom. He gave me, we went inside the bathroom. He's like, here, take one. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. And right there, I already got the water in my hand and I swallowed it. And then he's like, you want another one? And I'm like, yeah, if you can give me another one, all right. And then he gave me another one and I swallowed it. That was the chief of the cops, man. He was like, he had the face of a killer, man. He was, damn, I look at him, I'd be scared of him just by looking at his face. But then I went to jail and I stayed one, not even a week. I stayed like 4 days inside the juvie, and then they sent me to that other thing that I had to pay 6 months of jail time. That was coming home on the weekends and staying inside the jail during the week. But this jail that I would stay inside the week, it was like a house, and we just had to stay there. And there, they would have a lot of things. We would have to go to school. We would have to clean the house. We would have to stay with our friends, like stay with the other inmates. And they would have TVs and everything. So we would watch Netflix. We would watch movies at that house, food, but everybody would have to wash the dishes and everything. It was like a normal house so we could get back to living in the world. And I did that for 6 months.
Hold on. Rehabilitation. But how in God's how is this possible that you can be in this is your sixth time in jail, you get caught with that much dope, and you're close to 18, and they give you this like that? I mean, It's good. They're trying to rehabilitate people, not just make them go get more fucked up in the prison or whatnot. But
Yeah,
how is that possible that you got this sweetheart deal? It blows my mind.
man. I've seen kids that killed another guy and got out in like a week because it was their first time. They
What?
killed a guy and got out in a week because it was their first time going to jail to juvie.
So it's just like
Honestly,
that in Brazil. Like you can do
just like
anything
that.
you want when you're young.
Yeah, exactly. You can do anything you want when you're young, but when you're 18, things change because then you go to to the real jail, and there the things are crazy. You don't stay just a week. The minimum that you stay there in the adult jail is 6 months just for you to get judged. So
So before you get charged, you're staying there for 6 months.
yeah,
So yeah, shit gets real serious for the adults, but they actually try
exactly.
rehabilitating the kids.
Yeah. So they actually give an opportunity, man. And this time they said, you guys are going to choose. And like on my fourth month, my fifth month, I was like, you know what, man? If I was the manager and the guys told me that the cops were coming and I went to jail inside of a house without nobody like outside, nothing was telling that I was inside that house. How did I go to jail being a manager and like nothing explains the way that I went to jail. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get out of this crime. I'm not gonna sell drugs anymore. I chose that. That was when God unfolded the blind, and He was like, think, just think. You're 4 months paying this thing. If you get out, you're gonna get out, and you're gonna go back to the crime. No way. You can't do that. You can't do that to your life. And then I was like, all right. So I'm paying my things. I'm gonna get out, the first thing I'm gonna tell the guys is that I'm gonna get out of the crime. I'm not gonna stay in this thing anymore. I don't care. And that was the first decision that I took. So one day I went back and I told the guys, hey man, I'm not gonna be with you guys anymore. I'm sorry. I love you guys. You guys know that everything that I did was correct. I've never done anything wrong here inside this place and everything, but I'm gonna get out, man. This life isn't for me anymore. And they're like, all right, man, we just need you one more day. If you can stay here since you're out of jail right now, like I went down to stay for the weekend. Like, since you're out, can you just stay today? And we're already gonna get somebody to stay for you. And I'm like, all right, I'll stay just today.
How close are you to turning 18 at this point?
That was when I was like 2 months to turn
Before,
18.
so they said
Yeah,
just stay one more day for us.
one more day for us. And I was like, oh my God, this is like the thing. Because I knew that like they like you said, it's hard for people to get out. They didn't want to accept it. They're like, man, really, you're gonna go, man, but we need you. And I'm like, damn, man, you need me, but I need to get my life right. So I'm not gonna be able to stay, man. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. And
Is
then they're
the
like,
boss
no.
like what was the boss saying?
No, yeah, the boss is like, no, man, don't go, please. We need you. You know that you are here with us for such a long time, ever since you were younger, and you're the only one that can run this favela the way that we want it. Because everybody that's gonna come here is gonna be new. They're not gonna know how we work things. We're gonna have to teach them. And I'm like, nah, man. But unfortunately, I love you. I love everybody, but I can't stay with you guys anymore because I already decided that in my life, and I'm not gonna be a thug, man. I'm not gonna be a thug. This isn't for me. Look at me, man. I was inside of the house and I went to jail. How do you want me to? Are you crazy? That doesn't come in my mind. How could that happen? I'm not gonna be in this crime anymore. And they're like, no, then all right, then just stay just one more day, and we're already gonna have someone to fill in your place. All right. And I'm like, all right, that's it. And I stayed one more day, and I got out even because they got crazy. Because when as soon as I went there to talk with them, I was like, you know what? I'm already gonna go to the middle of the woods. I'm gonna see if there's anything left, because the things that I owe, I'm gonna pay when I get out. So then I already went and I got all the money, man. There was like this much money inside the woods. They got crazy. They're like, wow, you know how to hide things. And I'm like, yeah, I know how to hide things. The dog found only the drugs and the gun, but they didn't find the money. So then I
How much
just had,
money was it? Like, give me an estimate. How much money was it?
damn, man, it was a lot of money because we had already. I went to jail. It was like 9 at night, so we'd probably sell like we had already sold like 15,000, like 12,000.
Oh,
It
this
was
was just
around
that
that
one day.
just from that one day.
You hid the money. Okay, that's what
Yeah,
you normally did. You always hid the money in the woods and then got it back later, or what?
yeah,
Okay.
always. And the drugs and the woods and everything was hidden. They were like they gave it in my hands, and I had to do whatever I could to hide it from the cops and give one by one to the people that were selling. So then and then I decided to do that, and I got out, and that same moment that I got all the money, I already got my part. I'm like, I'm not gonna stay without money because you know how it is. So then I got my part and I gave them theirs, and I already said, man, I'm gonna work now as an actual job, and I'm gonna pay you guys day by day. I'll pay you whenever I can, the best way possible. You guys know how I am. I'm not gonna let you stay without the money. And they're like, all right, man, it's chill. You can go, you can work, and you can pay us whenever you can. So then I stayed paying them for a while. It was a
You're
pretty
paying
big,
the favela off your normal money.
yeah, because of the drugs that I lost. Or would stay
Oh, yeah.
because it was a lot of drugs, man. But it
Yeah.
wasn't just I didn't have to pay everything by myself. So we divided like those 10,000 with the three people, me and the other two. So it was a total like 4,000, 3,000 for each. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like that, like 3,500. It didn't pass
You
that.
paid them back for that. Okay.
Yeah, and then I worked and I gave it back. But that was like when I decided to do that. Look what happened. Me paying my jail time, I hadn't finished yet, and they said, "Hey, we have an opportunity of a job. This is what's gonna happen. We need the three best inmates that we have here, the three best kids that are with the best behavior, that are working inside the house, that aren't fighting with anyone." They're like, "All right, first one, Tiago. Tiago's gonna come because he's doing everything well, everything right. He's not doing anything bad. So Tiago's gonna be one. Do you want Tiago? Do you want to work?" And I'm like, yeah, I want to work. Let's go. I'm ready to work. I already decided to not go back to the crime. So this came at the perfect time. And then they're like, oh, then that's it, man. That's it. So let's start working. And then they did all the process and everything. And I got accepted to a job that I would get half of a salary. Look at how much I would make now. 500 reals per month. That I would make more than double that in one day.
Yeah, that should tell the listeners. Like, so before you're making 2,000, you're making 2,000 reais dealing dope a day. And
Yeah,
now 500 reais for like probably a, what is it, manual labor job a month.
a month.
God,
Crazy, man. That's crazy.
that's very, that would make me be like, it'd be hard to not go back to the crime. Like, fuck, like,
Exactly. It was very hard, man. It was terrible. It was like that's why most people go back to the crime. Most kids go back because here in Brazil, if you're younger than 18, that's the maximum that you can get. It's 500. It's half a wage.
that's
You
a
know what I
hundred
mean?
dollars. Well, now the rate's a little lower. That's $100 a month for you listeners. $100 a
Yeah.
month. And how many hours a day were you working?
It was only 4 hours a day.
5 days a week?
Yeah.
$100 for four times 20 a week, 20, hold on.
80 hours
20
a
hour
week.
weeks. 20-hour weeks, $100 a month. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy, man. But then I decided to do, and what was that? But that job was more of like a course, man. So I did this audio visual course. So I would learn how to take pictures. So I know how to use a camera. I know how to edit a video. I know how to do a lot of things, man. So I learned, and I would get money to learn. So that was a job. So I would learn for 4 hours and get paid half a wage. So 500 reals a month. So then all of a sudden, me doing that, it was a contract for 1 year of that job. So that was the time for me to like get my life ready and everything. So I turned 18. The first thing I did, started getting my driver's license. So I did that, working. And after that, man, I saw the opportunity to join the football team because I told the woman at my job, look at this, I told the woman at the job that I got from the jail time that I loved football, that I've lived in the United States, that I speak English. And she's like, wow, that's crazy. You're the star here because you're the only one that speaks English. So I was basically the star at the job. And she told me, I have a friend of mine that used to be my student. He used to play football for Bachimbu Dogs. So that's the team that I play on for today that became Cruzeiro FA. It used to be Bachimbu Dogs. And I was like, then let me talk to him. What if I can join the team? I don't know. I can do anything. I can play for whatever position they want. Like in the United States, I know how to play football. I know like all the rules and everything. I just need practice because I've never actually like played on a team. But in the United States, I would play on our backyard. I would play in school. I would go to my brother's practice because he used to play on a team. And I would go, and I know football. I love football. It's like my favorite sport. Are you crazy? And then she's like, all right, then I'm gonna get a chance for you to talk to him. I'll send you his number. And I talked to him, and he's like, really? You want to play and everything? I know the coach, and like I used to play for him and everything. I'm gonna talk to him about you, and maybe you can join. Let's see. Then he's like, all right. And all of a sudden, he sent me a message. He's like, man, I talked to my coach, and he wants to talk to you. And I talked to the coach, and I was like, hey, I'm not gonna lie, I've been to the United States, so I know football, but I've never played on a team. But I can learn how to play. I can play any position that you want. What position do you need? I will get better. I will do what you need for me to play on that position. I don't care what it takes. I will play for the position that you need. I will do what I have to do. And then he's like, really, we're needing receivers. And I'm like, wow, that's like the best fit for me, a wide receiver. So yeah.
Tiago, 1 second. Yeah, hold on. We're getting a little glitchy. Let me write it down. Hold on. Hey, just talk. Just talk to me. Talk quick.
So and then
No, no,
I
hold on, hold on. Move around a little bit. It's a little. Hey, exit out and come back in. Exit out and come back in.
all right.
158. Maybe I won't edit this because it takes a little time. This is a good episode, huh? It's freaking great story. He's a great kid. Fantastic kid. I was gonna go to the Favela and record this like a vlog walking through. I think I'm gonna go back and do it, but very nice dude, genuine dude. So put this down here. Yeah, there we go. Jeez. Hope everyone is doing amazing. If you're 2 hours into this, I love it. I love the support. There he is. Let's see if we got him decent. Okay, talk
There
to
you
me.
go. There you go. Is it
Yeah,
better now?
yeah. So they said you can play a receiver.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, so then I could play. They needed a wide receiver, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do whatever I can to be the best. And then I started going to the practices. It was on the formation team that we call it, the base team. So there, man, I was a star, man. They saw that I really knew what I was doing, that I knew that I had to what I had to do. I just started to practice more and more, and I started to stand out. So they're like, "Wow, you can start coming to the practices of the principal team just so you can watch and see how it is, ask questions." I'm like, "All right." So I stayed 1 year on that formation team. But during that process, on my job, I got an opportunity to run a half marathon, and I ran it. I got another opportunity when I started playing football. Um, I got my driver's license too, and then I saw another opportunity that was what this other course for me to get paid the same amount, 500 reals a month, but this time it wasn't going to be about audio visual. That's like the technology things. It was a mechanic course. So there I went and passed on this test. So it wasn't for like I couldn't just go into the job. I had to do a test to see if I was capable of joining. And that was a test of Senai here in Brazil. That's like one of the best schools that we have to form professionals. So it's a very hard test. And I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to pass on it. Look at who I am. I still don't have not even my middle school done. Who am I going to be to try that? But I'm going to go. And I went and I tried it and I passed. So I got accepted, man, for that job. So now I was working on two jobs. It was already halfway through one, so I was getting 1,000 reels. One was in the morning and one was in the afternoon, both 4 hours. So what was I doing? I was getting my food at the end of this job. I would get my food. I would get inside the bus. I would eat inside the bus, going to my other job, and I would go to the other job, and then I would work, and then I would come home. When I was coming home, I would go straight to school to finish my school because I started studying again. So I went and finished middle school and I started studying high school. And
at 18.
at 18.
And by the way, side note, those buses are so shitty in Brazil. Like I see 100 people stacked inside of them. That would be tough.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's really full. Trust me. Especially on the way back, man, I would never come down sitting on the bus. Always standing up. And sometimes I wouldn't even have to hold because of everybody inside the bus. Like we would all be crowded like this. Sometimes I was at the bus stop. I would like give the signal for the bus to stop. They wouldn't stop, man. Like I've waited for 9 buses. 9 buses passed straight, full of people. They didn't even stop at the bus stops. And then another bus came and I got it like the tenth bus. So like it was hard, man, coming home. Trust me. And all that. Now I'm making 1,000 reals a month, working 8 hours a day, having to get look like man. I would stay more inside the buses than working because I would only work far. So I would get just for me to go to the first job, it would be 2 buses. And then the second job, it would be another bus to go, 2 more buses to go to that job, and then to come home, 2 more buses. So it was 6 buses at the total of the day. Sometimes I would even have to get the train to go to another place where the job wanted me to go to learn.
How much were you sleeping?
But I would sleep good, man, because I would get
Um,
home.
um,
I would get home from school at like 10:20.
but weren't you practicing too? Football?
No, for the formation practice was
Oh,
only on
weekend.
Saturdays.
Weekend. But
Yeah,
listen to this though. Everyone listen to this. So he was making $200 a month with the multiple things and catching fucking 6 different buses. Like how I mean it would take you have to be a very strong mindset to well, especially if you already experienced the life of having money in Brazil and with the girls and all that stuff to go through this bullshit. I mean,
yeah.
that's not easy, bro. Like that's $200 a month and your life was probably like boom, 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 and shitty. It's impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah, thanks, man. And that was when I also, in this other course of mine that I got the football, this teacher of mine, he was like, "Man, you speak English. We got to do something with that English, man. You have something that nobody has. We got to start doing something. Let's start trying to make you a teacher. Have you ever thought of that? Give English lessons?" And I'm like, "Wow, I've thought about that, and that's a very good idea." He's like, "Yeah, you're gonna work from inside of your house. It's good." And I'm like, "All right, what can we do? Let's start." And then we started the project. Today, I give English lessons until today. I still give English lessons. Like before this meeting, I was giving an English lessons from my house right here. Chill.
And you
So
make
everything
what do you make on that again? Tell me what you make on the English lessons.
it depends because I give English lessons for myself, like particular, and I also work nowadays. I was gonna get to that. I also work at an English lesson company because that I met the kid from my football team. He's like, "You speak English? My wife works at an English school, and they need an English teacher. They want to contract an English teacher. How about you, man? You give English lessons for yourself. You should go." And I'm like, "Man, but I don't even have my high school done yet." And then he's like, "Man, they need the high school done, but I don't know. You speak English fluently, man. I don't think they can deny the work for you. So just go, man. Go with faith." And I'm like, "Yeah, God has done so many things in my life that has kept me alive sometimes that I should have died. And why wouldn't he how wouldn't he like let me get this job? This is easy for him." So then I went and I tried the job, man, and the guy was amazed. The owner of the English school, like I was speaking English with him and he couldn't like understand me that much because I was speaking so good. He's like, "Wow, I'm speaking to an American. It's basically an American. You don't even look like you're Brazilian." And I'm like, "Thank you very much. I am very blessed that I got the opportunity to live in the United States." And he knew that I lived there and I told him my story. And he's like, "Wow, man, you don't even need to have your high school done yet. You're accepted, man. You're gonna work here for me." And I'm like, "All right, but I'm gonna have my high school done like next month. I'm almost graduating." And I was almost graduating. So I got that job and then I graduated. So like if you think about it, in like 2 years, 3 years, I flipped my life upside down. I graduated, I got my driver's license, I worked ever since I got out of crime. I've only worked with my here we have this thing that it's called our job wallet. That's what we use to know every place that you worked for a company. And ever since I got out, I've always worked for a company. And that's like there's people that still they can't work for a company because they don't have their school, they can't speak the language. And me, I got the opportunity to do all that. Play football, I ran a marathon, started working out. Man, it was like my life got flipped up upside down. Graduated the audiovisual course, graduated the mechanic course, and now I'm working giving English lessons and particular and on the school. And man, that on the total playing football too. Like I'm getting paid, like if you think about it in the total it's being like 2,000 reals per month, the total. That's good because I live by myself. I built my
Yeah.
own house. I also forgot that. I built my own house, man. With that money of me working on those two jobs, 1,000 reals, I built my own house here in Brazil.
Whoa, 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 not your family's house? You build a house in favela yourself?
Yeah, but like it's in my parents'
Oh, it's like
it's in the
separated?
space. It's in the space, but I built my house, for example, like in the backyard. I built my house for me, so I live by myself.
Yeah,
And
minimum wage is like 1,200 reais, and like a lot of people earn minimum wage. So
yeah,
you're making 800 more, almost 50% more than minimum wage. Yeah.
that's true. Yeah. And
Hold on,
working
I'll make a point though. What you just said is great lessons for everyone. First of all, on limiting mindset, like, oh, I didn't have my high school, like I'll never get this job. Then you just went for it, and it worked out. The English speaking,
yeah.
and then the other factor was everyone has skills that they don't fully appreciate or understand you can monetize or do something with. Like you were living with an amazing skill in Brazil, being able to speak English, and you never did shit with it, right? Besides get make fun of because you didn't know Portuguese. And then you found your place, and now you earn good money from it. Like everyone needs to look at themselves with that and say, like, damn, what am I not utilizing that could be valuable to someone? Because everyone's got something that is unique to them that could make a difference somewhere. So I wanted to make those 2 points.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I agree completely. And that was like that's totally inside of your mind, man. You can't like think less of you. You got to think more of you. Like you know that you're capable of something, but you got to think that you're more capable of more. Like you can never get satisfied. You got to want more. So then like I started playing football and everything. So I what was I saying, man? Before that, what you said?
Basically, everything came amazing for you, and yeah, I think the football. You're about to say, I think younger people, the game of football or these certain lessons that they should internalize. I think you were getting to that point, no? And hold on, while we're talking, I need to order an Uber for a beautiful Brazilian girl. I didn't think this was going to go that long, but I wanted to keep going because you're doing amazing, and I want to ask you some
Yeah.
questions about something else after. So
No,
I
all
think
right.
maybe talk about opening your mind to opportunities, taking advantage of them. You said from God that He opened your eyes, and then like maybe showing the kids that hey, look, there are different avenues. I know we talked about American football, how like the structure, the discipline, being with the team, all that shit has paid big dividends for you.
Yeah. And yeah, but just like everybody they they limit themselves here, so you gotta unlimit, man. You gotta understand that there's more than that. Like I could speak English and I found football. Those two things come together. Maybe somebody that you have something in you that will come together with another thing that you will stand out. You will be good. Like me, I don't know, but basically I started playing football and it was what 2021. I stayed 1 year on the formation team just practicing on Saturday and studying football at my house and everything. The next year, as soon as an American coach came to Brazil to be our coach, he noticed that I was getting better and everything. So he's like, "Man, you don't even need to go to the formation team anymore. You're here at the principal. Now you've learned what a wide receiver does and everything. You just have to keep practicing with us and get better. You're good." So then I started practicing more and more and I got better. Like um, you just gotta think,
That's
man.
something I can attest to too, because as he started off, you're a fast little slot receiver, but
Mhm.
you just kept listening. Like I'm hard on dudes too. Like I don't play games, and okay, yeah, that makes sense. Boom, I'll add this to my repertoire. And by the end, before I left, like you were catching touchdowns, you're on the same page with.
Yeah, You know,
Having, and here's what's crazy is that coming from Mr. El Chapo leading a favela, and then to see some, arrogant, big ego guy come in here and say, do this, do that, and then to take it because you realize, like, I've done this for a while. Like, I know, and you want to
yeah,
get on the good side because I'm throwing you the football, but you were open to all the suggestions, right? And I think that is definitely key. Like, maybe, yeah, in one area you could have had me killed, but in this area, like, hey, maybe it's smart to listen to what I'm saying, which is smart because that's hard to get rid of that ego. Me, I have a
yeah.
problem with it too. Like, anyone telling me any sort of things to do, that there's an issue. And if I had the power that you said you had in the favela, like where I could make people dead or or whatnot, I wouldn't take shit. I wouldn't listen to
Man,
nobody.
you
Sure.
should see me in the formation team, man. In the beginning, like there were some players that would honestly, like, I don't even like to say this, but there's some players that didn't treat me good, man. They wouldn't like me. I don't know why, man. But one day, me when I was in the formation team, I had like just gotten out of the crime and everything, so I was like very fresh with that mindset of crime and everything. This kid just called me. He called me a son of a bitch, man. And I was like, are you crazy, man? Like in the crime, man, you never talk about somebody's mom, man. And if you talk about someone's mom, you're giving them the reason to kill you, man. And this guy just called me son of a bitch. You can't say that when nobody asks you. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not even gonna say anything. Honestly, I just held back and I was like, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna bring God. And I think what gave me that peace is God, man. That's the only thing that gives me that peace is God because even today, man, I go through some things that I'm like, wow, you have to really hold on so you don't say what you want, so you don't act angry out of your mind. I always think before I do something because it's very hard, man. In this world, we're getting tested every day. Every day it's a test. And if you pass, you're going to learn and you're going to get better. And if you don't pass, you're only going to get worse. So
Yeah,
that's what I do, man. I take everything that somebody says to me, I use it to get better. If someone slaps me, man, if someone hits me in the face, man, I'll turn the other way and I'll let them hit the other way. I don't want nothing. I'll learn with that. I'll be like, if you did that, that was for some reason. And I'm going to make sure you don't do that ever again. I'm not going to give you the reason to do that ever again. It's pretty crazy, but that's what I'm learning with God, man, that you just have to trust God that he's going to do whatever has to be done. Like I trusted him and he brought me to where I am today. And I'm an example, man. A lot of friends of mine that were selling drugs, that were crazy in this world, they got out of it. They got out of the crime. They looked at me, they're like, wow, Tiago, you gave me the inspiration, man. I'm not a criminal anymore. I'm not selling drugs anymore because of you, man. I saw your way. I saw that you can get out of this. I saw that we don't need this. Look at you. You didn't even know our language, man. And you came to this place and you suffered. And now look at you. You're doing college. You're playing for a professional football team, Cruzeiro. That's like my dream team. I love that team. And you built your own house. You got your driver's license. Look at all the things that you accomplished. And honestly, nothing is for me, man. I do everything is from God because it was from the moment that he took that blindfold off because I was willing to give my life for the favela. I was willing to die for my brothers, for my homies. But I got blind and now I can see again, thank God. And I just want to get better and do my best in everything, man. That's it.
yeah, and I hope the blind is removed for someone that watches this, that listens to it. Obviously, it's
Yeah,
gonna
me
be
too.
tough for the favela kids. They don't speak English, but I guarantee you, a lot of dudes in the USA going through shit or thinking about joining the bad life could hear a story from you, who no hood in America is anything like growing up in the favela in Brazil. Let's get that straight,
That's
right?
true, man.
So
That's true.
if you can get your shit straight and go through what you did and find the right path, I'm pretty sure anyone that speaks English can figure it out too. So definitely. Hold on, before I end this thing, I want to hear. So do you have any meaningful tattoos? Because you're covered them. Like, is there any of it like gang inspired, or how did you get them in jail? Like, I'm curious on that. Because here's when I first saw you. I'm like, oh shit, this looks like Brazil. Like, to be honest, it was you grow up in USA, you hear of MS-13, which is eradicated now because the El Salvador president just took out everyone. He's doing a great job. I like him a lot. But you looked like a El Salvador like just a fucking killer, right? So I'm
Yeah.
curious, what does the tattoos and all that shit stand for?
Man, honestly, like I have a lot of tattoos on my body that are clowns, and like here in Brazil, we use that to like a lot of they say that people do clown tattoos that kill cops, but honestly, that stopped. Like there's a long ass time that has stopped. That doesn't mean that but we still use that to show our hate, our our suffering that we've had on the hands of the cops, of the people that they've killed that we love, that makes us hate them. So all of a bunch of tattoos that I have on my body are clowns, and they represent that I don't like cops. Unfortunately, they're not all. I know a lot of cops that are my friends and everything, but there are a lot of cops in this world that don't like. They don't do what they should be doing, man. They should be protecting us. They're not protecting us. They're hitting us. Like my brother, he went now that he's in jail. He wasn't with anything, man. He wasn't with any drugs. He wasn't with any guns. The cops just threw the guns, threw the drugs on him, and said that they're there, that they are his. And my brother's word against the cops' word in front of the judge is nothing. So my brother can't say anything. And the cops planted drugs on him and send him to jail. So like they've killed my friends. I've seen cops kill my friends. What they've done to me so many times, hitting me, trying to find out where drug is. Why can't they just accept that they got me with nothing? They gotta hit me and they gotta torture me to find more drugs. No, that shouldn't happen. I've seen them beating workers, man. People that work, they have their jobs. They would beat them like just for nothing, man, for being where they are. And like the guys, for example, they park their car here in front of a place and they're taking something out and the cops want to get in the favela. They're gonna be like, wow, you're working for them. You're working for them, stopping us. What are you doing? The guy's taking out his groceries. So like I have a lot of hate for cops, but not all. Like I said, I have friends. Some people are amazing cops. They do their job. Sometimes they got me. They're like, I got you. You lost. You're going to jail. There's nothing else that you can do. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. I accept. One day I win, one day I lose. And then I lost. But
Hold on. To make this point on this, because it was obviously a very heated debate the last couple of years with the George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter and whatnot. So,
mhm,
in my opinion, for sure, a lot of cops, okay, not a lot, but a good percentage never had power, growing up. And once you get
mhm.
that power usually corrupts. So they start doing some dumb shit.
Yeah.
But on the defense of them, okay, like you said, they planted stuff on your brother. Okay, but they knew probably your brother, and like it has been said, was doing shit the whole time, right? And
Yeah.
so, also, if I was a cop and I had to go into that favela, and every time I went in there, I thought that I might not see my wife or my kids again. Obviously, my mindsets can be a lot different, and
A
like
lot.
I see a dude like you, bro. Like I'm not listening to shit because I know that I could be dead. You know what I mean? And I could never see him again. So like the game is fucked up, and me, like
Yeah.
I obviously like. Oh, in Brazil, here's the difference. In Brazil, I love cops because when I see a cop, I'm like, oh my god, I'm safe. No one's gonna rob me. They'll protect me. But in the USA, like fuck, when they pull me over, fuck cops. Like, are you kidding me? I'm not doing nothing. Like, this is
Yeah,
bullshit.
man, it's crazy.
But I see definitely both sides, and I do think we do need them because there's a lot of fucked up people in this world.
Yeah.
We need someone that can stomp them down. But I also see the bootlicker side where they're just following orders from the top dog and keeping the rich people in Brazil and their gated communities safe and making life hell for you guys. But it goes both ways. Just like
Yeah.
psychopaths in the favela, there's psychopaths in the police department. And of course, for you to see that, like you said, is impressive because you were in a war with them, for the majority of those, years that you were doing your thing. So that's why the point I had to make.
Yeah. No, that's facts. That's facts. And I have one more tattoo that I think that like it fits in with the clowns too. Is that I have on my whole chest, like right here, this whole thing. It's written, even in the smile, maybe the heart feels pain. So like,
I know it's weird, but could you show like the just take off the shirt because this
yeah,
is
yeah, I can show you.
really gang crazy shit.
So like, it's basically this, the tattoos. So like, it's right here that I have this. Even in the smile, maybe the heart feels pain. And I have a clown right here. I have some clowns right here, this and that one. I have a gun with an assault rifle, a kid with an assault rifle sitting down. And I used to have this hat too. A hat just like I have another clown right here. Then right here I have the Statue of Liberty with the gun in her hands. Another gun right here. They're pretty. Then I have this blessed by God on my hand. I have this other clown on my back. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, wait, hold on 1 second. 1 second. Yeah. Okay. Got it. And I see the money symbol. So basically, it's all money, guns, clowns, and like, what do you feel now? Like it's like a representation of your past, or do you feel
Yeah,
like,
that's
okay,
exactly what it is. Like some, like the one on my hand right here, I want to like get rid of them just because it's on the hand and everybody sees it. But the rest, man, I every time I take off my shirt and I look in the mirror, I remember everything that I've been through.
yeah,
So I thank God for everything that I'm living right now, man. Just for me to have the peace to sleep, just for me to, man, honestly, I thank God for everything, man, everything. Honestly, just before I didn't have freedom. Like I had freedom to do what I wanted, but I didn't have freedom to live my life peacefully. Now I have freedom to actually live my life peacefully. I can walk in the street normal. I don't care about the cops. Cops come next to me and I say, "Hello, good afternoon." I don't care about them. I don't have to worry. I see thugs like from the other places that I used to have war with. I don't even care because they don't know who I am anymore. And my friends, I see them. They see me. They see the story that I have. They see what I did. I don't even have to tell them my story because they saw everything and they get amazed. They get happy. They get out of the crime because of me. Not because of me, because of God, obviously, but by using me to show them that there is another way. That's like the most thing that I get happy with is seeing my friends get out of crime and say, "Man, it was you. I inspired on you. I saw that you did it and I knew that we all can do it." And that's it, man. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to make my mom happy. Same idea that I have in my mind. Just get a job and make my mom happy. That's it, man. And live your life. So it was crazy, man. It was crazy, but I like it. So I use this just to remember. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate nothing. I think 5 times before I step on a little ant, man. Honestly, I think, damn, an ant's a creation of God. I can't kill it. Why would I kill an ant? Didn't do anything. Bugs, everything, man. I can't even think about doing nothing bad to nobody. Honestly, everything I have is to really remember about my past and see what I have accomplished and everything. And there's nothing more satisfying than actually hearing from my friends, man, hearing from everybody that I've seen doing these bad things, see that they changed the way of their life. They said, "Man, I got out of the crime because of your inspiration, because of how I saw that you were able to get out of this crime life and I'm also going to be able to. I know that everybody has a special gift in them that they can use to do good things. So, like, basically, man, that's what I think about Brazil that everybody has to open their mind to see that they have a possible future. Because most people here think that they have this, just this. This is the world, Brazil. But when they get to know, like I got to know the United States, you can see different cultures. You can see how the world is big, the different opportunities that we have. Man, that's it, man. You just have to be able to think about your future, not live one day at a time, but think like 5 years after, 10 years after, how is life gonna be? If you think that if you see that it's gonna be a little bit bad, you still have time to change, and it's never late. Just like me, I stayed in that bad life all my time, all those years, and one day I decided to stop and start making the right decisions. It was one day I was always making bad decisions, but that one day that I started making the first good decision, after that just kept on coming good things, good thoughts, and that's it, man. God, he opened my mind, opened my eyes, and now I just want to continue living and making the best out of everything, keep honoring God because if I would not be here if it wasn't for him and my family, my friends and everybody, just that. And you know it, Nicholas. It was a great time that we had right now, talking, expressing our feelings and everything, talking about our countries, the different types of people, the different types of lives here in Brazil. And it was amazing, man. I liked it a lot, and it was a pleasure being here with you. And let's keep on going, man. One day we'll talk again, and one day you show up in Belo Horizonte so we can maybe do one like this personally, answer some more questions that people have. If anybody has any questions in the comments, we can answer them later on. But that's it, man. And everybody just take some time to think about your life and what you're doing, because I forgot to tell you this, but I've spoken to a lot of kids that are in the same place that I used to be in the jail. I've went there, I talked, we've made meetings like this, and a lot of them decided to change their lives. And I know that somebody hearing this is probably going through something like it. It doesn't have to be exactly like it because everybody's life is different, but just always know that there's still good to come, and that you are able to do whatever you want. You just have to want that. You have to study, you have to do everything possible to make that happen, and it's all in your hands. All right, and I'll see you, Nick. It was a great time with you. Bye bye, man.